Hello and welcome to our Python crash course for beginners. Whether you are completely new to the programming or looking to get familiar with Python, you are in the right place. In the next 3 to 4 hours, we will guide you through everything you need to start your Python journey. By the end of this session, you will have a solid foundation in Python programming with hands-on experience building a simple project. Let's take a quick look at what we will be covering today. Here is a course outline broken down into key pieces. We will start by introducing Python, why it is such a great language to learn, and some common applications of Python in the real world. Then we will move to next section, setting up the environment. In this section, I will show you how to install Python on your computer and set up an IDE like Pycharm so you can start writing your code. In Python basic section, we will dive into the Python core concepts like variables, data types, and basics operations. You will also learn how to take input and print output, how to write clean and readable code with comments. In control flow section, you will learn to make decisions in your code with if-else statement and loops. We will cover for loop, while loop, and how to control the flow of your program with break and continue statement. And next is working with strings. Strings are crucial in any programming language, and Python makes it easy to work with them. You will learn how to manipulate a string, format them, and check for substrings. Next is functions. In function sections, functions are reusable block of code that make your program cleaner and easier to manage. We will go over how to define functions, pass data to them, and understand variable scopes. In data structure section, we will cover essential data structures like list, dictionaries, tuples, and sets. You will also learn how to store, update, and manipulate data in these structures and how to iterate over them. Next is file handling section. In file handling section, we will show you how to read from and write to files. This is useful for tasks like saving user data or working with CSV files. CSV is comma separated files. Next is introduction to module. In this section, you will learn how to use built-in Python modules like math and random module to perform tasks easily, and how to install third-party packages using pip, that is Python Package Manager. After learning all these Python concepts in this tutorial, we will finally put them into practice by creating this mini project, simple Python project, that is number guessing project. This project will help us apply what we have learned and see how everything comes together in real world scenario. And we will walk through the logic and implementation of this code. So let's get started and see why learn Python, its application and use cases. Why Python? Why learn Python? Python is almost everywhere. In web development, we have web frameworks for Python like Django and Flask, make creating dynamic and responsive website easier. In data science and artificial intelligence, in Python, we have popular libraries includes NumPy, Panda, TensorFlow for data manipulation, analysis, and machine learning. For automation, we can write a simple script using Python for automating repetitive tasks. For automation, we can automate repetitive tasks effortlessly using simple Python scripts. For game and app development, we can develop engaging games and functional application. We can develop good engaging games and functional applications using versatile Python tools. So Python is versatile, beginner friendly, and widely used in diverse industries, making it a valuable skill to learn. Whether you are a student, a professional, or just curious about coding, Python is the perfect place to start. So next, let's see what all you need for this Python crash course. You need a computer with Windows operating system installed and an internet connection to download Python and Pycharm IDE, and about 3 to 4 hours of focus and curiosity. Now let's start setting up the environment. First, we will download and install Python, and then we will download and install Pycharm IDE. Now let's start setting up the environment. First, we will download and install Python, and then we will download and install Pycharm IDE. Now let's download and install Python from official website of Python, that is https://www.python.org. First, go to the python.org. Open the web browser and go to python.org. This is the official website where you can download Python. Now click on download option. When you will click on download option, Python will automatically recommend the latest version for your operating system. Now see here, I clicked on download option. Now here Python has recommended me to download for Windows because my system has Windows operating system installed. And for Windows operating system, Python 3.13.1 is latest version. So you just have to click on this Python 3.13.1, this option, and your download will start. Now once download is completed, go to the download tab and see this is our setup file, Python 3.13.1 amd64.exe. This is a setup file for Windows operating system. You just copy this setup file to your desktop, and from there we'll start the installation of Python. So I have already copied this setup file in this folder, Python setup folder. This is a setup file. Now open the installer by right clicking on it. Just right click on this and open it. And here you have to check these two boxes, use admin privilege and add python.exe to path. And click on install now. It will take a couple of minutes to install. Once it is done, it will show you a success screen. Now see the setup was successful. Just close this window. Now next we have to test if Python is successfully installed in our system or not. For that we have to open command prompt or terminal. So here just open command prompt and type Python --version. Now see, it is showing the version of the Python which is installed in your system, Python 3.13.1. This is the Python version which we have just installed. It means that Python is successfully installed in our system. So now that we have installed Python in our system, let's set up IDE. So as a beginner for IDE, you can use IDLE. It comes pre-installed with Python. When you install Python, IDLE will get installed automatically. So as a beginner, you can use IDLE, or otherwise, if you want to write advanced code, you can use VS Code or Pycharm. So for this tutorial, we are going to use Pycharm, but we will see how to write code in IDLE. So let's see how to open IDLE. To open IDLE, you just type IDLE in the search box. IDLE, this is a IDLE app. Just click on it to open it. Now this is IDLE shell. Here you can write your Python code. So let's write very simple Python code just to add two numbers. So print, this is our Python code. Print two numbers. Let's take two numbers, 2 plus 5, and just hit enter. You'll get the output here only. Now see the output, 7. So as a beginner, you can use IDLE. There is no problem in that. But for advanced code, you have to use VS Code or Pycharm. So Pycharm is very popular and powerful and beginner friendly environment. So I recommend to use Pycharm. It is very popular in industry also. So let's see how to set up Pycharm. First open your browser and we will install Pycharm. We will download Pycharm first, then we will install Pycharm. So let's open our browser. And in browser, you have to open this URL, https://jetbrains.com Pycharm. From here, you can download Pycharm. And just go to the download section by clicking on this download button. And go down for the community edition. Just go down on this page for the community edition. Here we have a community edition, Pycharm community edition, download.exe for Windows. This Pycharm community edition is free and perfect for beginners. So let's download it. Just click on this download option. Download had started. Once it is downloaded, you just copy this setup file to your desktop. I have already done that. So let's go to the desktop. So downloading is complete now. This is your file Pycharm community 2024.3. This is your Pycharm community setup file. We have to use this file for installing Pycharm into our system. So you just copy this file to your desktop. I have already done that. So let's go to desktop, and in Python setup folder, I have this setup file for Pycharm community. We have to install Pycharm by using this setup file only. It's very easy to install. You just have to follow the on-screen instruction. So let's do that. Just right click on it and open it. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Yes. And welcome to Pycharm Community Edition setup. Click next to continue. Next. And this is default destination folder where Pycharm will get installed. So you can leave it as it is. In case you want to change, you can change also by browsing the folder. So I'm leaving it as it is, default destination folder only, and click on next. Now here you have to check two options, create desktop shortcut and update path variable, restart needed. These two checkbox you have to check. You have to remember this. You have to check these two checkbox. Add bin folder to the path and then click on next. Install. It will take a couple of minutes to install, so we have to wait. Reboot now, or you can reboot manually also later. So I'm just clicking on finish. Completing Pycharm Community Edition setup. Installation is completed now. So just click on finish. Now let's reboot our system. Now that we have installed Pycharm application, we can open it by just double clicking on this shortcut, Pycharm Community Edition shortcut. Just double click on it. This is your welcome screen. This is the first screen that you can see, that you will see when you will open your Pycharm application. In case you don't see desktop shortcut for Pycharm, you can directly open the application also. For that, you have to search in the applications, like in the search box, you just type Pycharm, and this is the application. You just double click on this application and your Pycharm will open. So this is your Pycharm welcome screen. Now let's configure Pycharm to use the Python version we installed earlier. We have installed Python version 3.13.1. So we have to configure Python for this Python version. So how to do that? So for that, you have to click on new project. Just click on this plus sign to create a new project. And here you can select Python version. So currently it is selecting Python 3.12. We have to change this. So ours is Python 3.13. This is our version, na? Python 3.13. So this is our Python version. So just select this and click on create. and your project is ready now. This is a Python project we just created. It is ready to use. Now that we have set up a development environment, let's create our first program. Just right click on the project, create a new Python file, new and Python file, name it, give any suitable name. I'm just giving first program and enter. Our first program.py Python file is created. Now we can write our Python code here. Let's print some message like we can print first program or hello world, anything. So print method, and in double quotes you can write your message like hello world. Now this is our basic code to print a simple string or simple message. Now how to run this Python code? To run the Python code, you can use this run option, or you can use shortcut shift plus F10. So here you have to select current file and this run option. Now this is your output hello world. Or you can press shift plus F10 to run the program. Now let's create a first Python program. For that we have to create a Python file. So how to create it? Just right click on this project, right click, new Python file, name it first program and enter. You can see our first program.py Python file is created. Now we can write our code here, Python code here. So let's print some message. How to print any message? To print any message, you can use print method. Print, this is a print method, and whatever message you want to print, just write within the bracket in double quotes. I want to print hello world. Now our first Python code is ready. How to run this code? To run the code, you can use this run option from here, or you can also use shortcut shift plus F10. Shift plus F10 is a shortcut to run Python code. Just select current file from here and use run option. You can see the output here in console. Hello world. We have printed hello world. You can see this hello world message in the console. Output of the Python programs are shown in this output window. This is called console window. So I hope you have set up Python and Pycharm, and you have also run your first Python program. Next, we will dive into the Python basics. Let's create a new Python file for practical demonstration of Python basics. Just right click on Python project, new Python file, name it Python basics and enter. In this section, we will cover variables and data types, basic operations, input and output, comments and code readability. Now let's start with variables and data types. In Python, variables are used to store data. Now let's see an example. Here name is a string variable. Age is an integer type variable. Height is a float type variable. And is a student is a Boolean type variable. So here we have 4 types of variable: string, integer, float, and Boolean. Python automatically determines the data type based on the value you assign. Python automatically determines the data type. Here we have not mentioned that this name is a string variable, or age is integer variable, or height is float variable, or is student is Boolean variable. We are not assigning any data type to these variables. We are just assigning the data, and based on the data we have assigned to the variable, Python determines the data type. That is why Python is dynamically typed, meaning you don't need to declare the type of a variable explicitly. You don't need to declare a type of a variable explicit. You just give variable name and the data. Variable name equals whatever data you want to store. Based on the data you have stored, Python will decide the variable type. Now, how to print the variable type? Let me comment this. How to print the variable type? So there is a type method, type and name of the variable. Type and name of small t will come. Type and name of the variable. Now print the type. Print. Let's put it in the print method. Now this will give you the type of the name variable, which is a string. You will get the string as an output. See, class str. So this name variable belongs to class str. The type of the variable is str. Str is to store the sequence of characters, a string. We want to see the type of age variable. Just copy and print, copy and paste. Print type of age variable. Type is a method. See it. So don't get confused with this type method. This was just to show you that how to know the type of the variable. Now, how to display the values stored in these variables, name, age, height, in these variables. To display anything in Python, we have a print method. You have to use print method to display anything. If you want to display name variable, value stored in the name variable, you have to print and the variable name. If you want to display value stored in this age variable, print and the variable name. So to display anything in Python, we have print method. So here we have used print method to display the values stored in name, age, height, and is a student variable. So let's see the output. Let's execute it. How to execute it? You have to use this run option, or you can also use shortcut Shift plus F10. See, you can see the output here. Alice is stored in name variable, 25 is stored in age variable, height 5.6, and is a student is true. So this is how we print or we display anything in Python by using the print method. Now let's perform some basic operations. Let's start with arithmetic operations. Let's start with the arithmetic operation. In this code, we have initialized two variables, a and b, a with the value of 10 and b with the value of 3. By using these two variables, we perform some basic arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus to find the remainder of the division. So let's start with the addition. In Python, we have plus operator for addition, we have minus operator for subtraction, and we have asterisk operator for multiplication, we have slash operator for division, and we have percentage operator for modulus, for remainder. To find the remainder of the division, we have modulus operator, which is percentage operator. What we are doing here is we are adding the value of a and b by using the plus operator and using print method to display the output. Similarly, for subtraction, we are subtracting the value of b from a by using this minus operator and displaying the output by using the print method. To multiply the value of a and b, we are using the asterisk operator and displaying the output by using the print method. To divide the value of a by b, we are using this slash operator, which is a division operator, and displaying the output by using the print method. And to find the remainder of the division of a by b, we are using this modulus operator, which is percentage operator. Percentage sign is a modulus operator here. So these are some basic arithmetic operations that we can perform in Python by using these operators. Now let's see the output. I'm just commenting out this logical operation section. We will discuss this later. Let's execute this file, this code. How to execute it? We have this run symbol here, run option here. Just select current file and then run. and we will get the output in the console. Now let's see the output. Or I do one thing, I just comment out this section also, this variable section also, so that our output is neat. Yeah. So a plus b is 13, a minus b is 7, a multiplied by b is 30, and a divided by b is 3.3, and this a modulo b is 1. Now let's move on to the logical operations. So let me comment out this section of arithmetic operations and uncomment the logical operations. Now we are moving on to logical operations. Here I have defined two variables, x as a true and y as a false. X as a true, x equals true, and y as a false, y equals false. Logical operations allow us to combine or modify these truth values. I write it here. Logical operations allow us to combine or modify these truth values. Here we are doing logical and, logical or, and logical not. These are three logical operators. Now what is happening here? Let's see. Here we are doing x and y. Here we are doing x and y. What is happening here? This checks if both x and y are true. X and y, this statement, and is a logical operator. Here we are doing logical and. This will check both x and y are true. If both x and y are true, this will return true. This operation, x and y, this is an operation. This will return true. Otherwise, this will return false. So here x is true, but y is false. Both x and y are not true. If both x and y are true, this operation will, x and y, this operation will return true. So what we'll get here? We will get false, because here y is false. Here y is not true. Here y is false. X is true, but y is false. So in logical AND operation, if both x and y are true, this operation will return true. Otherwise, this operation will return false. So here we will get false. Here output will be false, since y is false. Similarly, we have logical OR. Here we are doing x, logical OR operator, and y. Here we are doing x or y. Logical OR of x and y. X or y. The way we did logical AND, here we are doing logical OR operation of x and y. What is happening here? This logical OR, it checks if at least one of these variable is true. Here x is true and the result will be true. Here x is true and the result will be true. So this will output true. Next is logical NOT. This inverts the value of x. Not x. Not x means this will invert the value of x. If you write not y, this will invert the value of y. If x is true, it will make it false. If it is false, it will make it true. It will just invert the value. So we are doing it not x. So what will be the output? Since x is true, and when not x will invert the value of true, it will become false. So we will get output false here. This will evaluate to false. This operation will evaluate to false. Now let's see the output. Let's execute it. See. False, true, and false. So this is what we expected. False, true, and false. So logical operations are used for decision making in programs. Now let's move on to input and output operations. How to take user input in Python and display output. Let's start with user input. First, we'll understand user input. So in Python, input function is used to take user input. Input function is used to take user input. By default, this input function reads user input as a string. By default, this input function reads user input as a string. But if a different data type is needed, like integer or float, the input must be converted explicitly. I'll explain all these things with an example. So let's understand this with an example. If we want user to enter username, we will use input function, because in Python, if we want to accept anything from user, we have input function. So how to use this input function to read data from user? Input. And if you want to display any message to user, like I want user to enter name, then enter your name. Enter your name. So whatever input user will enter, enter, that will be read as a string. So that string I have to store. So I'll store that string in a name variable, because user will enter his name and I will store that name in a name variable and print the value of the variable. Print name. That's it. So what is happening here? This input method will display enter your name message to user, and user will enter his or her name, and that name will be stored in this name variable, and here I am printing the value stored in the name variable. Now let's see the output. Let's execute this code. So before I execute this code, I just comment out this logical operation section so that our output is neat. Now let's see the output. Let's see the result of this code. How to execute it? By using this run option. Now here see, enter your name. This message is displayed. Input, enter your name. This message is given to user to enter the name. Now let's enter name. Prachi. User has entered the name Prachi and hit enter here. See, user entered Prachi and this print statement is displaying the name Prachi here. So what we've understood here, we've understood that this input method is to take input from user, and this input is always a string. Whatever user will enter, that input is always a string and should be converted to the required type when necessary. Let's see the example of conversion also. Converting input to other data types. Now let's understand this with an example. Here let's take an integer input from user. Let's take age from user. Take integer input from user. Let's take age from user. So how to take age input from user? You have to use input function. Enter your age. Now this input function will return you a string value. This will read a string from input. Input function will read a string, but age is not a string. Age is a number. So we have to convert this string to a number. So how to convert string to number? You just put everything in a bracket and convert this to int. Now here we are converting string to int and store it in a age variable. So by using this int method, we are converting this entire string to integer and we are storing it in a age variable. Now print the age. We want to display the value of age, print it using the print method. Now let's execute the program and see the output. Enter your name. Okay. Prachi. Prachi is displayed. Now enter your age. 22. Now you have to hit enter. After entering the value, you have to hit enter and see 22 is displayed. So this is how you convert a string to integer. Similarly, you can also convert a string to float value also. If you want user to enter height, height can be a float number. It can be in decimal. Let's take an example of converting string to float. converting input to float. Input, enter, height. Now convert this, because this input will return you a string value. You have to convert this to float. So how to do that? Put everything in a bracket and just convert it by using this float class. Now this statement will return you a float value. Store it in a variable called height. Store it in a variable called height. And now print the value of height. Print height. That's it. Let's execute it and see the output. Enter your name, Prachi, enter your age, 22, enter your height, 5.4. Enter. See. So this is how we convert user input to other data types. I hope you have understood. Now next is how to format the output. Output formatting. Currently, we are just displaying the value of the variables by using the print method. Print height, print age. These outputs are not formatted yet. In case we want to format the output, how to do that? There are many ways to format the output, but the most recommended method is using f-string. There are other ways also, but the most recommended method is using f-string. So let's see how to use f-string method. Let's understand this with an example. We have following variables. Name equals John, age equals 30 and height equals 5. And we want to display this information, these informations, name, age and height in this format. How to do that? So we can easily do this by using f-string formatting. In f-string formatting, you just have to place variables inside curly braces and prefixed by f. Place variables inside curly braces like this and prefix by f. Now let's see how to format this information, name, age and height in this format. We have to display this name, age and height in this format using f-string. So let's do that. First of all, we have to print this. So print method, and in double quotes, name, after name, colon is there, put colon, and after colon, you have to put name variable in curly braces. And after this name variable, comma will come, and age, colon, and after age colon, we have to display value of age variable. Then again variable will come in curly braces, age. After this age variable, text height will come, colon, and after colon, we have to display value of height variable. Then height variable will come in curly braces. And after this height variable, we have to display ft for feet. That's it. And we have to prefix this formatted output with f. It has to be prefixed by f. So you have to remember two things. Place variables inside curly braces and prefix it by f. So let's prefix it by f. F. You have to write f at the beginning. Prefix it by f. That's it. Now let's execute it and see the output. But before executing the code, let me comment the input section so that our output is neat. So let me comment this code. Let's execute it. And I can see the error name, which a capital N will not come. It should be small n. Yeah, now it is correct. Let's execute our code. Just run it and just see the output. Name John, comma age 30, comma height 5.9 feet. So this is how we can use f-string to format the output. You just have to remember that a string starts with F to indicate it is a formatted string, and inside the string, placeholders like name, age, height are used to refer to the corresponding variables. Python evaluates the placeholders by replacing them with the values of the variable. For example, in our example, name is replaced with John, age is replaced with 30, height is replaced with 5.9. And to display the entire string, we are using the print method. Let me quickly summarize this input-output operation. First, the input function lets you to take input as a string. You have to use input function if you want to accept data from user, and to convert input to a number, because input method will return you string. Whatever data user will enter will be returned by the input method as a string. In case you want to convert the input to a number, use int method or float method as required. And lastly, if you want to format the output, if you want to format the string and include variables, you can use fstring syntax. The fstring syntax makes it easy to format strings and include variables. Now let's move on to our next topic, that is comment and code readability. Comment and code readability. In Python, we use hash for single line comments and we use triple quotes for multi-line comments. Hash for single line comment and triple quotes for multi-line comment. Now let's understand this with an example. In case you have single line to be commented, just use slash, and this is single line comment. In case you have multiple lines, more than one lines to be commented, then you have to use triple quotes. 1, 2, 3, triple quotes. And within this quote, you can add your comment line. You can write your comments in multiple lines within this quote. Like this is multi-line comment. This is our second line, second, second line. It can span multiple lines. So in case we have more than one line to be commented, you have to use triple quotes. And for single line, just hash. Comments are ignored by Python when running your code. Just remember this. Comments are ignored by Python when running your code. So you have to remember, for single line, you have to use hash, and for multiple line, you have to use triple quotes. Now let's quickly understand naming conventions to be followed in Python for variables, constant, functions, and classes. Naming convention. For variables. Variables and function. For variables, you have to use lowercase letter with underscore between words. This is called snake case. For variables and functions, use snake case. What is a snake case? Snake case is lowercase words, and these words has to be separated by underscore. Use lowercase letters with underscore between words. Like snake, snake is one word and case is another word. And the snake and case is separated by underscore. So this is called snake case. So you have to use snake case for variables and functions. For example, user underscore, like user is in lowercase, underscore name. Name is again in lowercase, but user and name both are separated by underscore. And for functions also, you have to follow snake case. For example, if you have to create a function called calculate total, then calculate will be in lowercase, and total will also be in lowercase. and both has to be separated by underscore. Between these two words, you have to use underscore. So this is snake case. But first word and second word, both words are in lowercase. So this is called snake case. And for constants, you have to use upper snake case. Means uppercase letters with underscores separating word. Upper snake case. It means uppercase letters with underscores separating words. This is upper snake case. All letters are in uppercase, but words are separated by underscore. This is called upper snake case. Example, max limit. This is a constant. Words are in uppercase and two words are separated by underscore. Let's take one more example, pi. Gravity. Okay. Now next is classes. For classes, we have to use camel case. Camel case. Camel case means capitalize the first letter of each word and no underscores. Capitalize the first letter of each word and no underscores. Example, student profile. Student profile. Now, student and profile, these are two different words, student and profile. So, both the words, for both the words, first letter is capitalized. In students, S is capitalized and in profile, P is capitalized. This is called camel case. Capitalize the first letter of each word, but no underscore. And we have not used any underscore between these two words. So, these are few naming conventions that it's good if you follow them, because these conventions help make your code readable and maintainable. So it's good if you follow these naming conventions when you write your code. That's it for Python basics. Next, we will learn about control flow, which allows us to make decisions and repeat tasks in our program. Let's move on. Now let's create a new Python file for a practical demo of control flows. Go to the project, right click on it, the new Python file, name it control flow and hit enter. So in control flow, we will cover conditional statements, logical operators, loops, for and while, and jump statements, break and continue statement. I'm writing these topics here. Now let's understand conditional statement with an example. In this code, we are getting user input using input function. We are getting user input with an input function. And since input function takes input as a string, we are using int function to convert string input to an integer. So it can be used for numerical comparison. So in this, here we are getting user input. Getting user input using input function, and input function takes input as a string. So we have to convert string to integer. To convert string to integer, we are using int function. Int function will convert string input to an integer, and then we will use this integer value for numerical comparison. After converting input to integer value, we are storing that integer value in an age variable for further comparison. Python uses conditional statements like if, elif, else to decide which block of code to execute based on condition. If checks the first condition. If first condition is not met, elif handles the additional conditions. Elif block will be executed only when previous if condition is not met. If this fails, if this is false, if this if is false, only then elif block will be executed. These additional conditions will be checked. And in case when no conditions are true, elif is also false, if is also false. When no conditions are true, this else block will be executed. So in this code, this code categorizes age into 3 categories: minor, adult, and senior. Now let's see how this code is working. What we are doing here, we are getting input from user to enter age, and we are converting that input because input function takes input as a string. So we are converting that string input to integer by using int function, and we are storing that converted integer to a age variable for further checking. So in this statement, we are getting user input, and then we are using conditional statements if, elif, else to decide which block of code to execute based on the condition. Now first condition is if age is less than 18. In case user has entered age less than 18, if age is less than 18, we are displaying you are a minor. And here indentation is very important. Here indentation is very, very, very important. You have to follow the indentation. You can't write this print statement without indentation. Indentation is a space at the beginning. This space before print statement is indentation. So you have to give space. So indentation is very, very important. You can't write this print statement like this. This is wrong. So you have to give space. So if age is less than 18, we are displaying message you are minor. In case if this condition is false, if user has entered age more than 18, if age is greater than 18, this elif block will be executed because this condition will be false. This condition is not met, then elif code block will be executed. This condition will be checked. Age greater than equal to 18 and age less than 60. In case user has entered age within range of 18 and 59, this condition means if age is less than equal to 18 and range is between 18 and 60. If age is between 18 and 60, this code block will be executed and we are displaying a message you are an adult. So this condition will be true. And in case this condition is also not true, both the conditions are false. If first if block is also false and this else if is also false, then else condition will be checked. This else block will be executed. And in else block, we are displaying a message you are a senior. So else block will be executed only when all the above conditions are not met. Above conditions are false. Only then else block will be executed. Now let's execute this code and see how this code is working with different inputs. Just run this code by clicking on this run option. Enter your age. So let's enter 15. Hit enter. So when we entered age 15, first if block is checked, age less than 18. This condition is true. If age less than 18, print you are a minor. So first if condition was met and the message was displayed, you are a minor. So here you can see in output window, you are a minor is displayed. Now let's execute it once again. Enter your age. This time let's enter 25 and hit enter. When we enter 25, first if condition was checked, age less than 18. So this condition was not met as age is 25. As user has entered age 25, first if condition was not met. Then it will go to the elif part. Elif part, this condition was checked, age greater than equal to 18 and age less than 60. So this condition is true this time. Elif part condition is true this time. So message was displayed, you are an adult. So you can see you are an adult is displayed here. Now let's execute it once again. This time we will enter age 65 and hit enter. So when we entered 65, first if condition was not met as age is more than 18. Second if condition is also not, second elif part is also not met because age is greater than 65. So this elif part is also not met. This is also false. Then it will move on to the else part. This else part was executed and message is displayed, you are a senior. So I hope you have understood how these conditional statements are used. And like I said, Python indentation is critical. In Python, indentation is critical. It defines the block of code that belongs to a specific condition. Like in this example, this print statement belongs to this if block. You are an adult. This print statement belongs to this elif block. You are a senior. This print statement belongs to this else block. So that is why here, after this else statement, we have given this space before print statement. After this elif, we have given this space before this print statement. You are an adult. Before this print statement, we have given space after elif, because this print statement belongs to this elif block. So indentation is very important. You have to remember this. Code will not work without indentation. You can't write your code. You can't write this print statement without space. You have to give space. If this print statement belongs to this if part, you have to give space before this print statement. This point is very important, so I'm writing it here. Always ensure proper indentation for clean and error-free code. Now that we have completed conditional statements, let's move on to logical operators and understand logical operators with the help of an example. There are three types of logical operators. AND operator, it checks both conditions must be true. OR operator, at least one condition must be true. And NOT is to reverse a condition. So in this example, in this code uses logical operator to check discount eligibility. And in this code, we are using two variables. These two variables are Boolean variables. Is a student, this is set to true. It means that person is a student. And has ID, this is set to false. It means that person has no ID. Now after this, to check the discount eligibility, we have used conditional logic. First logic is if is a student and has ID. Now here we are using AND operator. Here we are using AND operator. This AND operator checks if both conditions are true. If is a student, this is also true, and has ID, this is also true. If both conditions are true, displaying a message, you are eligible for a student discount. If person is a student and also person has ID, then student is eligible for a student discount. And in case this condition is not met, elif part will be executed. And in elif part, we are checking if person is a student or person has ID. OR operator checks if at least one condition is true. Is a student should be true or has ID should be true. At least one condition has to be true. Then only this elif part will be executed. Now, if person is a student or person has ID, person is eligible for partial discount. This message will be displayed. You might be eligible for partial discount. And in case this condition is also not met, else part will be executed, and in else part we are displaying a message, you are not eligible for discount. This else part is executed only when all the above conditions are not met, all the above conditions are false. And here not logical operator is used to reverse a condition, just to flip the value of a condition. If a condition is true, not will make it false, and if condition is false, not will make it true. Just flip the condition, just reverse the condition. So I hope you have understood how logical operators works and how it can be used with conditional statements. Now let's execute this code and see the output. Okay, let me comment out the previous section of this code because we don't need it now, this conditional section. And clear the console and execute it once again. Let's execute it again. See the output. You might be eligible for a partial discount. This time, is a student is true and ID has ID is false. So this elif part, this code block is executed. This condition is true. If is a student and has ID, this condition is not met. Because this condition is not met, elif part was checked. is student or has ID. This condition is met because is value of is student is true and has ID is false. So we have got message you might be eligible for a partial discount because elif part this code block is executed. This elif part condition is met. Now when both the condition are true, for example, if has ID, we set this to true. Let's set this to true. First if part will be executed because is student is also true and has ID is also true. Both boolean variables are true. So this if block will be executed. Let's execute it and see. Now see the output, you are eligible for a student discount. Now when both the variables are true, this if block is executed and message is displayed, you are eligible for a student discount. Now let's move on to next topic, which is loop. Let's understand loops with the help of example. Let's start with for loop. For loop is a control structure which is used to iterate over a sequence. In this example, sequence is generated by a range function. This range function is generating sequence starting from 0 up to 5. Up to 5, but 5 is not included. So range will be 0 to 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This sequence will be generated by range function. So for loop is used to iterate over a sequence, and in this example sequence is generated by using range function. This range function will generate a sequence 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. 5 is not included. So range function will generate 5 values starting from 0 up to 4. And here the variable I takes on each value in the sequence, one at a time starting from 0 to 4. In first iteration, I will take value 0. In second iteration, it will take value 1. In third iteration, it will take value 2. In fourth iteration, it will take value 3. And in fifth iteration, it will take value 4. So, and in the body of loop, we have a print function which is printing the value of I in each iteration. And here we are using f string to format the output. So here this loop will run 5 times. Iteration 0, iteration 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's execute the code and see the output. See, iteration 0, iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3 and iteration 4. This loop has run 5 times. So this code is using for loop to iterate over numbers starting from 0 to 4. This for loop is used to iterate over numbers starting from 0 to 4, and on each iteration it prints the current value of I in the message iteration I. I hope you guys have understood how for loop works. Now let's move on to while loop and understand while loop with the help of an example. Sorry. With while loop, we can execute a set of statements as long as condition is true. While is a keyword and this is a condition. Count less than 5 is a condition. And as long as this condition is true, these two set of statements will be executed. Whereas in for loop iterates over a sequence. But while loop, set of statements are executed as long as this condition is true. Now in this example, the variable count is initialized with a value of 0. And while loop, this is a condition. Count less than 5 is a condition. This means that keep running the loop as long as count is less than 5. And if the condition is true, loop body runs. This is our loop body. These two statements are inside loop body. If this condition is true, as long as the value of count is less than 5, this condition is true, these two statements will be executed. If the condition becomes false, the loop will stop. And inside this loop body, we are printing the value of count by using the printf function. And after printing the value, we are also incrementing the value of count by 1. Count equals count plus 1. This statement means count equals count plus 1. This statement means count equals count plus 1. Now let's execute the code and see the output. This loop has run 5 times. Count is 0, count is 1, count is 2, count is 3 and count is 4. So 5 outputs are produced here. Now when to use while loop and when to use for loop. Use while loop when number of iterations is not fixed and depends on a condition. In case iterations are not fixed and it depends on a condition, you should use while loop. And use for loop when you know the number of iterations in advance, like iterating over a range or a list. In case you know how many iterations are there, if you know if you know the number of iterations in advance, you should use for loop. And in case iterations are not fixed and it depends on a condition, you should use while loop. These 2 points are important, so I'm writing it here. Use of for loop and while loop. Use for loop when you know the number of iterations, and use while loop when the iterations depend on a condition. Just remember this. Now our next topic is break and continue statement. Break and continue statements let you control the flow inside the loop. Whether it is while loop or for loop, you can use break and continue statement to control the flow inside a loop. So first we will discuss break statement with the help of an example. What break statement does? Break statement stops the loop. Break statement is used to break the loop. Break statement stops the loop. In this code, what we are doing, we are using for loop to iterate over sequence numbers from 0 to 9. This range function will generate sequence of numbers starting from 0 to 9. 10 is not included. 10 is exclusive. And inside this for loop, we have all these 3 statements. One if condition, then break statement, and then print statement. This if condition is checking the value of I. The moment I becomes 5, the moment the value of I is 5, this break statement is executed and loop terminates. Regardless of whether there are more iterations left. Once I is 5, loop will terminate and no further iteration will occur. Loop will stop here when the value of I equals 5. And last, we are printing the value of I using the print method. In each iteration, this line, this print I, will print the value of I for each iteration before the break statement is executed. Now let's execute the code and see the output. This is the output of the code 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. The loop stops as soon as I equals 5. So the number after 4 are not printed. Number after 4 are not printed because loop has stopped at I equals 5. Because we are using break statement here. Loop will terminate here. No further iteration will occur. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 values are printed here. Break statement is used to exit a loop prematurely based on a condition. This is a condition if I equals 5. In this example, the loop stops when I equals 5, skipping the remaining iterations 6 to 9. 6 to 9 iterations are not happening in this loop because loop terminates at I equals 5. That is why only 4 iteration has occurred. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 values have been printed here. Now next is continue statement. What continue statement does? Continue statement skip the iteration and moves to the next iteration. Now in this example, for loop is iterating over sequence of number ranging from 0 to 9 because this range function will generate sequence of number ranging from 0 to 9. And inside this loop, we have these 3 statements. One is condition where we are checking the value of I. When I equals 5, we are continuing the loop. But now here continuous statement, what continuous statement is doing? Continuous statement is skipping the iteration and moving to the next iteration. When the value of I equals 5, continuous statement will skip the iteration. It will not execute this print line when I equals 5. When the value of I equals 5, this print line will not be executed because we are continuing at I equals 5. So continuous statement will skip print I line and moves to the next iteration. Let's execute this code and see the output. Okay, let's comment the above code so that the output is neat. Now let me execute it once again. Hana, here you can see. In first iteration, when the value of I is 0, print I is executed. Print I is executed for second iteration also, third iteration also, fourth iteration also, fifth iteration also. And the value of I equals 5. This print statement is not executed. You see, after 4, there is directly 6. 5 is missing from this from the sequence. Why? Because we are continuing the loop here when I equals 5. We are skipping the print statement when I equals 5 and moving to the next iteration. That is why when I equals 6, this print statement is executed and 6 values printed here, displayed here. 7 is also displayed. 8 is also displayed. Only 5 is not displayed because we are continuing the loop when I equals 5. So continuous statement is to skip the iteration and moves to the next iteration. I hope it is clear to you what is the difference between break and continuous statement, how it works, how to use it. Now next we will understand how to work with strings. Strings are sequences of characters and are one of the most commonly used data types in Python. In this section, we will cover creating and manipulating strings, string methods and operation, and string formatting. In this section, we will cover creating and manipulating strings, string methods and operations, and string formatting. Now let's see how to create a string with the help of an example. You can create a string using either single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes for multi-line string. In this example, we have used this single quote to create single quote string, double quotes to create double quotes string, and this is multi-line string. Here we have used triple quotes. You can see triple quotes to create multi-line string. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see this string was created using single quotes, and this hello string was created using double quotes, and this is multi-line string. This was created using triple quotes. Now next is how to assess characters in a string. Assess characters in a string. We can assess characters in a string using indexing and slicing. Indexing starts at 0, that is left to right, and -1, right to left. Let's understand this with the help of an example. So let's create a string variable name text and give some string value. I have given Python. Now here we want to access characters of this string. In case we want to access first character of this string, that is P. First character of this Python is P. And here we want to use indexing. How to use? Indexing starts at 0. That is P is at 0th position. P is at 0th position. Indexing starts at 0. When I say indexing starts at 0, it means left to right. P is at 0, Y is at first index. P is at 0th index and Y is at first index. And indexing also starts from -1. When I say indexing starts from -1, it means that right to left. So here N is at -1. N is at -1. So let's access first character of this text Python. How to do that? Text, name of the variable, in a square bracket, index you want to access. So we want to access first character. So index will be 0. This will give you the first character of the string. That is P. First character, that is P, capital P. And you have to, if you want to print it, just take it inside the print method. That's it. Now, in case you want to access the last character, last character, you can go from right to left. You can use negative index like this. Text -1. This will return you the last character from right. It will start from the right. That is N. Small n. And you want to print this, then take it inside the print method. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see here we have accessed the first character using 0th index. and last character using negative index, that is -1. In case you write here -2, what will happen? Let's see. -1 has returned you O. That is right to left next to N. That is O. Next, you can also use slicing method to extract parts of the string. Slicing method to extract part of the string. Now, how to use slicing method? Name of your string, and in a square bracket, you have to specify start and end. Start, colon, end. Now, let's understand this with the help of an example. Now, here in this example, in case you want to access only pyt substring you want to extract. Now, how to extract this pyt using slicing method? Let's see. Text, this is your string, and in a square bracket, you have to specify start and end. So, p is at 0th index. So, start will be 0 and end will be t. So, t is at third index. So, this will return you pyt. This is called slicing method. We are extracting part of the string. Now, let's print this. To print this, just take it inside the print method in a round bracket. Now, let's execute the code and see the output. You can see here pyt is extracted from the string. This is a substring of the text. So, this has returned p substring pyt. Now, what is the default value of a start and end index? In case you don't mention start index, then what will be the default value? Let me copy this and paste it. In case you write like this, you don't specify the starting index and you only specify the end index. In case in this example, let end index be 4. Then what will be the starting index? By default, its starting index is 0. So it will start from 0. As we have not specified the starting index, it will take the default value, that is 0. And if we don't specify the end index, what will happen? In case we don't specify the end index, we specify the starting index. Let's say it is 1. Starting index is 1 and we don't specify the end index. Then what will be the output? End index will be to the end, to the last character of the string. That is, in our example, that is n, to the last character of the string. So let's execute the code and see the output. You can see here we have not specified the starting index in second print method. So it has started from 0, that is pyth, and 4 minus 1. 0 to 4 minus 1, that is 3. So pyth, 0, 0th at 0th index p, then y is at first index, t is at second index, and h is at third index. So 0 to 4 minus 1, that is 3. 0 to 3 it has taken because we have not specified the starting index. Starting index by default is 0. And in next print method, in next example, we have not specified the end index. So end index is by default till the last character. So in this print method, it has started from the first character and end is at last character, that is ython. Y is at first index and n is at last index. So ython. So I hope you've understood what is the default value of start and end index in slicing method. Now let's move on to string methods. Python strings comes with wide variety of methods that makes string manipulation easier. Let's check out some commonly used ones. Let's start with the upper and lower method. Upper and lower method let you change the case of the string. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. So let's create a string. Text is our string. Assign some string value to it. Hello world. So we have created one string. Now we want to convert this text to uppercase. So how to do that? That easily we can do that using the upper method. Let's do it. Text dot upper. You just have to call the method. That's it. And this will return you all the characters of this text string in a uppercase. Now let's print this return value. Print That's it. Now, in case you want to convert this to lowercase, you can simply call lower method. Instead of upper, just lower. That's it. And print the converted value. So upper method will convert all the characters of the string in a uppercase, and it will return a copy of the converted string. And lowercase method will return all the characters of the string to lowercase and will return a copy of the converted string. So let's execute the code and see the output. You can see the output here. Uppercase method has converted all the characters of the text string in a uppercase, and lowercase method has converted all the text in a lowercase. Now next is capitalize method. Capitalize method only capitalizes the first letter. Let's understand this with the help of an example. Let's capitalize the text string. Name of your string, that is text, dot. Name of your method, that is capitalize. That's it. And this will return you the capitalized string. So let's print the return value in a print method. Print, take it inside the print method. That's it. Next one is strip method. Strip method removes any leading or trailing white spaces. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. Let's create a new string, text2, and store some value to this string with some leading and trailing white space. So in double quotes, add some white space before string and some value, hello, and some white spaces after string also. So this we have added leading space and trailing white spaces. Now we want to remove these white spaces. How to remove? By using string method, we can easily remove it. Just name of your string, that is text2, dot, call the method, that is split method. That's it. Now this method will return you a new string with removed leading and trailing white spaces. Sorry, this is not split, this is strip, S-T-R-I-P. Yes. Strip method will remove all the leading and trailing spaces and will return you a new string with removed spaces, leading and trailing spaces. Now let's print that new string. Take everything inside print method. Print the return value. That's it. Now next method is split method. Split method will break the string into list of words. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. So let's create a new string. So this was upper, lower, capitalize. This is a strip, and now split method. The split method will break the string into list of words. So let's create a new string, text3. Give some value to this string. Hello, Python, world. So this is our string, and we want to split this string into list of words. So we can easily do this by using split method. Name of your string you want to split, that is text3, dot, call the method name method, that is split method. And here you have to specify separator, that how words are separated. Now in our example, we want to split this entire string separated by comma. So here you have to specify comma as a separator. So just specify comma in double quotes, comma. So now words will be split on the basis of comma. Comma is separator here. How to separate the words? So in our list, we will have two words. Hello is one word and Python world will be another word, because we have used comma as a separator. So comma is separating these two words. In case you don't specify comma, white space will be taken as a separator, right? So this will return us two strings. One will be first one will be in our list, we will have two strings. First one will be hello and another one will be Python world. So this will be our return list of string. So now let's execute the code and see the output. So we have seen uppercase, lowercase, and capitalize. Okay, capitalize we have not seen. So let's execute the code and see the output of all these string methods. So here you can see the output of all the string methods we have discussed just. First one is uppercase. All the characters of that string is converted to uppercase. Hello world. And this is output of lowercase. This is output of capital case. Only first character is converted to capitalize. I mean converted to uppercase. That is H. And this is strip function. So leading and trailing spaces are removed from this text2, that is hello. So you can see there is no leading and trailing spaces in text2, and same is printed here. And next one is split function. Output of split function is not displayed here because we have not printed the output. So let's print the output here. Let's print the returned string. Print, because the split method will return to a list of words. So we are printing here list of words. Let's execute it once again. You can see here. You can see the output of split method here. The split method breaks the string into list of words. So hello and Python world, these are two words of our list, and both the words are separated by comma. So I hope you have understood how to use split methods. Now next is string concatenation and repetition. One of the coolest feature in the Python is how easy it is to concatenate or combine a string. In Python, it's very easy to concatenate or combine string. You can do this with the plus operator. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. First, let's understand string concatenation using plus operator. Using plus operator. Let's create two strings. First one is greetings equals, just give some value to it, assign some value to this string, that is hello, and let's create one more string, that is name. Assign some value to this name variable, Amit. So here we have created two strings. First one is greeting with value hello, and another one is name with value Amit. Now what we have to do, we have to join these two strings. We have to concatenate these two strings using plus operator. How to do that? Now using plus operator, we have to join these two strings and store it in a new variable. So name of the new variable, that is message, equals first string, that is greeting, plus give some space between these two variables. So in double quotes, space, and again plus operator for joining the name variable. That's it. And now let's print the message. So this message variable contains the concatenated string, and we are displaying the same using print method. So now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see hello Amit. So both the string we have concatenated using the plus operator. So I hope you've understood how to use plus operator for concatenation. Now next one is repetition. How to repeat a string multiple times. Easily you can do this in Python. It's very easy. You just have to use the asterisk operator. That is also mathematical operator which we use for multiplication. Same operator we have used for repeating the string. That is asterisk operator. For repetition, we have to use asterisk operator. Repeat the string using asterisk operator. This is a multiplication operator. With using same multiplication operator, we can repeat string. Now how to use it? Let's understand. Let's create one string, that is repeat equals, and here we want to repeat hi word 3 times. We want to print hi word 3 times. How to do? Using asterisk operator. In double quotes, string you want to repeat, that is hi, and just multiply it 3 times. So here we're repeating hi word 3 times using asterisk operator. Let's add a space after hi and also exclamation. So this hi word will be repeated 3 times, and same will be stored in this repeat variable. So now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see here in this output window, this hi word is repeated 3 times. So this is how you can use asterisk operator to repeat string. Now next is a string formatting. Sometime you need to insert variables into your string, and Python makes this super easy with app string. This fstring method was introduced in Python 3.6, and now let's understand this with the help of an example. So now string formatting using fstring. Now let's create a new variable, name variable, and give some value to this name variable, that is Alice. Age equals 30. Here we have created one more variable to store age value, age of Alice, and one more variable to store message that we want to display in the output window. So one more variable, message equals. Now here this message variable will hold a customized message. Customized message, hello, my name is, whatever name is stored in this variable, that name will be displayed in the customized message. Hello, my name is Alice and I am, whatever age is stored in this age variable, I am 30 years old. And the same message will be displayed in the output window when we will execute this code. Now how to do that? We will format this string using fstring. How to format? Let's see. This string will start with F, character F, and in double quotes, your string will come. So this F you have to remember, this is mandatory. For F string, this is mandatory. You have to write this F character at the beginning of the string. F, and then your string will come here. F, my string is, my customized message is hello, comma, my name is, whatever name is stored in the variable, that variable will come here in the curly bracket. Just name of the variable inside this curly bracket. Name. That's it. Whatever name is stored in this name variable will be substituted here. Right? Then comma, my name is name, and sorry, comma will not come here, and will come. And I am, age variable will come here. In the curly bracket, age variable. Whatever age is stored in this age variable will come here. Age, years, old. That's it. And full stop also. This is how we use fstring method to format our string. Now, if you want to display the message, just use print method to display the method, to display the message. Print and take the variable inside the print method, message. That's it. So here you will get output. Let's see the output. Let's execute the code. You can see, hello, my name is Alice and I am 30-year-old. Now let's give some different name. Instead of Alice, let's write some different name, Prachi, and also change the value of age, that is 36. Now, whatever value is there in this name variable, that will come here. So this time output will be, hello, my name is Prachi and I am 36-year-old. Right, now let's execute the code. You can see, hello, my name is Prachi and I am 36 years old. So this is how you can insert variables into your string. So we have inserted two variables. One is name variable and another one is age variable. Now next is len function. In case you want to know how long a string is, you can use len function, L-E-N, len function. Len function returns the number of characters in the string. Now let's see how to use it. Len function. Returns number of characters in a string. Let's create a variable, text equals, and assign some string to this variable, that is hello. Now we want to print the number of characters in this text string. Now let's see how to do that using len method. Len method in round bracket, name of your string, that is text. That's it. Now you want to print, you want to display the output, call print method. Take everything inside print method. So here this len method will return you number of characters in this text string, and same will be displayed in the output window. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see 5. This hello contains 5 characters. So this is very useful. Length method is very useful. It is handy when you loop through each character of the string. And in case you want to check length of the string dynamically, then also you can use len method. Now next is escape characters. Sometimes you need to include a special characters like a new line character or quotes inside a string. You can easily do this with escape characters. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. Let's see how to add a new line character in a string. Example, add new line. Let's create a variable, that is text variable equals. Now store some value to this variable. In double quotes, we will store hello world. Hello. And after hello, we will create a new line. Now how to create a new line? Using /n. /n is a escape character which is used to add a new line, which is used to create a new line. For new line, we use /n. This is a escape character, /n. And after new line, after creating a line after hello, we will write world. So now this hello will come in first line, and after writing hello, a new line will be created and then world will be added. Now let's print this text. Print variable name. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see the output here. Hello in first line, and after a new line is created and then world is coming. So this is how you can use /n to create a new line. Now next, let's see one more example of escape characters. In this example, we will include quotes in our string. Now here, let's create a string variable named quote equals, assign some string value to this variable. Let's say he said Python is amazing. Now what we want here, we want to add Python is amazing, this string in a double quote like this. We want to store this string in a double quote like this. Can we do it? Is it possible in Python? Can we do it? Can we store this string in a double quotes like this? No, we cannot. Why? Because in Python, the string starts and ends with double quotes. You can see here, string, all the string. Here, hello. It is starting with double quote and ending with double quote. So in Python, the string starts with and ends with double quotes. Inside the string, you want to include the phrase, like in this example. Inside this string, you want to include the phrase Python is amazing enclosed in double quotes. So in that case, you can't do it directly using double quotes. You can't directly use double quotes like this, the way we have used here. You can't do it like this. Directly, you can't use double quotes inside the string because it is already surrounded by double quotes. This string is Python is amazing this string is already surrounded by double quotes. So you can't directly use it inside this string because it would cause confusion about where the string begins and where the string ends. So now how to do it? So you can easily do it by escape character /. Escape character, that is /. Now how to use this? Let's see. You just have to add one escape character before this quote and before this quote here. That's it. Here this / is telling Python, it tells Python to treat this double quote as a regular character rather than the string delimiter, because in Python, double quote is used as a string delimiter to tell Python that where your string starts and where your string ends. So when you are using escape character with this double quote, this tells Python to treat the double quote as a regular character. Without escape character, if you put double quotes inside a string that already uses double quotes as a string delimiter, in that case, Python would get confused and result in a syntax error. Now let's print this string. print, and the name of the variable code. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see here, he said, Python is amazing. This string is coming in double quotes. Now, in case you want to avoid using this escape character to include double quotes inside your string, how to do that? Let's see. For that, what you have to do, let's see this example only. Let me copy this, paste it. We don't want to use escape character, right? Let's remove the escape character. In that case, what you can do, you can use single quote to create your string. To start your string with single quote and end it with single quote. Now you can use this double quote to include string inside your string. This is correct. This way is correct. Let me execute the code and see the output. You can see here. So, in case you want to avoid using escape character, but still you want to use double quotes within your string, you can start your string with single quote. If your string starts with single quotes and ends with single quotes, in that case, inside the string, if you want to include phrases in double quote, you can use the way we are using here. Now, next is checking substrings. If you want to check if a substring exists in a string, you can use in keyword. Checking substrings, you can use in keyword. Now, let's understand this with the help of an example. Let's create a string that is text is a variable. Let's store a string value. I love Python. Now here what we want to do, here we want to check if this love word, love is a substring, if this love word exists inside this entire string. So how to do that? We can do this by using in keyword. Now how to use in keyword? Just name of your substring, that is love, in, and name of your string, complete string, that is text. This in keyword will return true or false. Now let's print that return value. So take everything inside the print statement, print method, and everything inside this print method. Now this statement will return you true or false, and that return value will be printed here. And here output will be true because love exists in the large string, that are main string. This is our main string and love, this is our main string, and love is a substring. Love exists in the main string. So resultant output will be true. In case we look for some other substring like Java, let's see that example also. Let's copy it, paste it here. And now we are looking for a substring Java. So here output will be false. We are looking for Java in text string. Text is our main string, large string. And Java is our substring. So as Java is not present in our large string, our main string, this is our main string. Main or large string. So output will be false. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see true for love, love exists in a large string, and false for Java, as Java doesn't exist in a large string. Java is not a part of our larger string. So I hope you've understood how to check for substring in a. So I hope you've understood how to work with strings. We have covered creating strings, manipulating them, formatting, and using various methods. Strings are a powerful tool for any Python programmer. And with this knowledge, you can handle text data in your program with ease. So I hope you've understood how to work with strings. Now let's move on to our next topic, that is functions. Let's create a new Python file for practical demonstration of functions. Right click on Python project, new Python file, name it functions, and hit enter. Now in this section, we will cover defining and calling function, how to define function and how to call function, functions, arguments and return values, and scope of variables in a function. Now let's start with what is function. Function is a block of reusable code. Code block that can be reused to perform a specific task. Function is a block of reusable code that performs a specific task. Now let's start with an example. This is a definition of a function, and here we have defined a function. How to define a function? To define a function, we use def keyword. Def keyword is used to define a new function, and after this def keyword, we have function name and then parenthesis. This parenthesis is empty. It means that it doesn't take any arguments. Def keyword, function name is followed by parenthesis, and after parenthesis we have colon. So this is how we define function. And after function name we have our function body. In greet function there is only one statement in function body, that is a print statement. Hello, welcome to Python programming. This function body has to be properly indented. Indentation means adding white spaces before code, the way we have done here before print statement. You can see we have added white space before print statement. This is indentation. So all the code that belongs to your function body has to be properly indented. This is very important to remember this. Now how to call the function? To call the function, simply you have to write function name along with parenthesis. That's it. Now let's execute this code and see the output. Hello, welcome to Python programming. You can see the output here in output window. Greet function has got only one statement, that is print statement. Hello, welcome to Python programming, and we are calling this function here. To call the function, you just have to write the name of the function and parenthesis. That's it. It's simple. Now let's understand function arguments. Functions can take input, and these inputs are called function argument. In this example, this parenthesis is empty. It means that this function is not taking any arguments, not taking any input, but functions can take inputs, and these inputs are called arguments, function arguments. They take inputs to perform tasks dynamically. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. Functions with arguments. Functions can take inputs. These inputs are called arguments to perform tasks dynamically. And here we have an example. Now here we have defined the function by using def keyword, def greet underscore username, and this function is, now you can see here, this parenthesis is not empty. After the function name, this parenthesis is not empty. It's taking one argument, that is name argument. This function takes one parameter, that is name parameter. A parameter is a placeholder variable used inside the function to receive a value when function is called. When this function will be called, this name will receive a value from the calling function. And inside this function, we have this print statement. This print statement formats the message to include the value of the name. You can see here, this print statement is formatting a message to include the value of the name. Hello, name, whatever name is passed to this function as a parameter, that name will be placed here, and then welcome to Python. Now when we are calling this function, we are passing this parameter. Here we are calling this function greet user Alice. This Alice is a name. Greet user, here we are calling the function. I just write it here. Calling function. Calling function greet user, and Alice is a name parameter. Greet user Bob. Greet user is a function name and Bob is a name parameter. So two times we are calling the function and we are passing the name parameter also. And this name parameter, whatever name is being passed in the name parameter, will be printed in this print statement. Let's execute the code and see the output. You can see the output here. When greet user Alice, this statement is executed, this line is executed. Alice is passed as an argument to the function. Alice is a name argument. This Alice is passed as an argument to the greet user function, and inside the function, name is assigned the value Alice, and it prints hello Alice, welcome to Python. Similarly, when greet user, this function is this line is executed, Bob is assigned as an argument to the function, and inside the function, name is assigned the value Bob, and it prints hello Bob, welcome to Python. Now here let's understand one more thing. What is difference between parameters and arguments? Parameters are defined in the function. This name is a parameter. Parameters are defined in the function header and act as a placeholder. So in this is our function header. Def greet user, this is our function name, this is our function header. Parameters are defined in the function header and arguments are the actual values passed when function is called. This Alice is an argument. Alice is argument. Arguments are the actual value when function is called, and parameters are defined in the function header. Name is a parameter. Name is a parameter and Alice is an argument. So I hope you have understood what is difference between parameter and argument. Now let's move on to our next section. Next topic, that is return values. Function, they also returns values. They take input as a parameter and they also returns values. Now let's understand how. Returning values. Returning values. Functions can also return values to the caller. Who is caller? Here, greet user Alice. This is caller. When function is, whosoever is calling function is caller. How function returns value? Let's see with the help of an example. Now in this example, we have used def keyword to define a function named add numbers. And this function takes two parameters, A and B. Why these two parameters? What's the use of these two parameters? These parameters will hold the values provided when this function is called and returns A plus B. Sum of A and B is returned by this function. So function also returns a value. After calculating the sum A plus B, this sum will be returned by this add number function. The return statement calculates the sum of A and B and send this result back to the caller. The function execution ends after the return statements. After this, we are calling the function. Here we are calling the function add number. The function add number is called with argument 5 and 3. And inside the function, A is assigned as 5 and B is assigned as 3. And the return statement sends the result of 5 plus 3 back to where the function was called. To this function. This function was called. So this result of A plus B is sent to this calling function. And this calling function is storing the sum A plus B, that is 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 is stored in this result variable. And this result variable is printed here in a formatted string. Now let's execute this code and see the output. The sum is 8. You can see the output here. The sum is 8 because 5 plus 3 is 8 and the sum is 8 printed here. This return statement is sending the computed value back to the caller and that value is stored in the result variable and this result variable is printed here in the formatted string and here is the output. Here we have printed the value of the result, but it can be stored and used later. So I hope you have understood how function returns a value to the calling function. Now let's move on to our next topic, that is scope of variables in a function. Variables defined inside a function have local scope, meaning they can only be used within that function. Now let's see an example. Variable scope in functions. I write this point here. Variables defined inside a function have local scope. They have local scope, meaning they can only be used within that function. Now, what does it mean? Let's understand this with the help of an example. Now, let's see what this code is doing. Here we have defined a function using def keyword, and after this keyword we have name of the function, calculate area, and this parenthesis is empty. It means that it doesn't take any parameter. And inside this function, in function body, we have length variable and width variable. Length variable, we have assigned value 5 to the length variable and we have assigned value 3 to the width variable. And these two variables are local variable. These two variables are local variables. They have local scope. Variables defined inside a function have local scope. So we have defined these two variables inside a function. They have local scope. They cannot be accessed outside this function. They can only be accessed within the function where they are declared. So we can access these two variables, length and width, only inside this calculate area function. We cannot access it outside this calculate area function. And this calculate area function computes the area and returns the computed area back to the calling function. This return statement is calculating the area length into width. And here we have a print function outside the calculate area function, because calculate area function, it ends here at return statement. After the return statement, we are calling the function. Here we are calling the function print calculate area. The function is called calculate area function is called here, and it calculates the area 15. 5 into 3. 15 is the area which is being calculated by calculate area function, and which is then printed here in this statement, print calculate area statement. 15 will be printed here. Let's execute the code and see how it works. See, 15. This is the area which is calculated by calculate area function, and this 15 is returned back to the calling function, and it is printed here 15. And in case you access these local variables outside the function, what will happen? This will raise an error. Let's try and see. Print length. This length is a variable which is defined inside a function, and we are trying to access it outside the function because function ends here. Function ends here. And we are trying to access this length variable outside the function. Then what will happen? This will raise an error. You can see the error here. Unresolved reference length. So this will raise an error. If you try to access local variable outside the function, this will raise an error. So you have to remember this, local variables cannot be accessed outside the function. In case if there is a requirement to, in case if you need a variable to be accessible throughout the program, define it outside any function so that it will have a global scope. Let's understand this with the help of an example. Let me comment out this. Now here, in case if you need this length variable to be accessible throughout your program, you just remove it from here and define it outside your function. Like, let's define it here outside the function, not inside the function, outside the function. Now this has become a global variable. Now this is a global variable. You can access it anywhere from your program. Now it is not a local variable. This is a global variable. Now this print statement will not give you an error. See, error is gone. Let's execute the code and see the output. See, 5 printed here. 15 is your area and 5 is the value of the length variable. So I hope you've understood what is local variables and global variables. What is the difference between them? Local variables are confined to the function and they are temporary and cannot be accessed outside the function. Use global variables if you need them available throughout the program. Okay. Now let's move on to the next section. We have completed defining and calling function, function arguments, return values, and scope of variables in function. Our next section is data structures in Python. So let's create a new Python file for practical demo of data structures. Right click on Python project, then new Python file. Name it data structures. Hit enter. Python file is created. In this section, we will explore Python's built-in data structures. These are essential for storing and organizing data efficiently. In this section, we will cover list, tuple, dictionaries, and sets. Lists, tuples, dictionaries, and sets. Now let's start with list. A list is an ordered collection of items. Lists are mutable, means that it can be modified, meaning you can change their content. So let's see an example of list. List is used to store multiple items in a single variable. Normally, when we create a variable, we can store only one item. For example, here I have created one variable I equals to 3. So I can store only one value, that is 3. I can't store like 5, 6, 7, more than one value. I can't do that. So in variables, in normal variables, we can store only one value. But in list, you can store more than one items in a single variable. Like here we have created a fruit list and we are storing 3 values, apple, banana and cherry, 3 fruits. So in list, you can store multiple values in a single variable. And here you have to remember one thing, that lists are created using square brackets, these square brackets. Here we have created a list of 3 fruit names. In Python, lists are ordered. When we say lists are ordered, it means that the items have defined order and that order will not change. For example, in this case, in fruit list, we have apple, banana and cherry. So all these 3 items have defined order. They have a defined order. We cannot change this order. If apple is coming first and banana is coming after apple, then it will remain, this order will remain same. This order will not change. If you add a new item to the list, the new item will be placed at the end of the list. This order is defined. This order cannot be changed. That is why we say that list is an ordered collection of items. This order cannot be changed. And also in Python, list is changeable. List is mutable. When I say mutable, means that we can change, we can add, we can remove items in a list after it has been created. Once I've created a list, we can change the items of the list. I can delete these items, I can add the item, I can modify the item. That is why we say lists are changeable or mutable. And one more thing, lists allow duplicates. Since lists are indexed, list can have items with same value. List allow duplicates. Let me write this point also. List allows duplicates. So you have to remember all these points. List is an ordered collection of items. Lists are mutable. You can change the value and list allow duplicates. Now next is how to access list item. We all know that list items are indexed and you can access them by referring to the index number. The first item in the list has index 0. Now in this example, we have 3 items. This fruit list has got 3 items. Now apple is at 0th index because apple is the first item. So apple is at 0th index. Now here what we are doing, here we are printing first item. Here we are printing first item in this example. Now how we are printing first item? As we know that first item is at 0th index. So print statement, print method to print the data, to print the information and list name, and we are using 0th index to access first item. We can also use negative index, -1. When we will use -1, this is referring to the last item. In case you want to access second item, you have to use index 1 like this. Fruit index 1. This will return you second item. Now let's execute this code and see the output. So let me comment out the code given below so that the output is neat. Now let's execute the code. Now see, apple 0th, first item at 0th index, banana second item at first index, and cherry, this is the last item because here we have given index -1. Okay, so I hope you have understood how to access list element based on the index. Now next is how to add and remove items from the list. This is also very simple. To add any item, you can use append function. List name dot append function. Append function will add item at the end of the list. Like here we are doing in this example, we are appending orange. So orange will come after cherry at the end of the list. And next we are printing the list. After adding the item, we are printing the list. And removing is also very simple. To remove any item from the list, you have to call remove method. Remove method and name of the item to be removed. So this statement will remove banana from the list. First, let's see example of adding item. Then we will execute the, then we will see the code of removing also. Now you can see after adding, orange is added at the end of the list. Here we have added orange, so orange is added at the end of the list. Now let's uncomment this code and see how to remove item from the list. Now here in this code, we are removing banana from the list. And after removing, we are printing also. We are displaying the list. So after removing, you can see banana is removed, apple, cherry, and orange. Only 3 items are left. After removing banana, we have got only 3 items. Now next is how to iterate over list. How to iterate over list, how to loop list. Here we are looping through a list. How to loop through a list. You can loop through the list items by using for loop. In this example, let me uncomment this example. In this example, this line starts a for loop that iterates over each elements in the fruits list. What is happening here? During each duration, the variable fruit takes the value of the current item in the fruit list. During each duration, the variable fruit, this fruit variable is taking current item from the fruits list, and that current item is printed in the next line, this print statement in a formatted string, in a personalized string. I love fruit. Here we are using f string to format the string. Now let's execute this example and see the output. How we are looping through a list using for loop. You can see the output here. One by one, this fruit variable is picking item from this fruit list and printing here. I love apple, I love cherry, I love orange. In first iteration, this fruit is equal to apple and I love apple is printed here. In second iteration, fruit is equal to cherry and I love cherry is printed here. In third iteration, fruit is equal to orange and I love orange is printed here. So using for loop, you can efficiently iterate through all the items in the list, and the loop automatically assign each item to the variable fruit, each item from the list to the variable fruit one by one. And to format a string, you can use f string. This is a recommended method to format a string using f string. Now I hope you've understood what is list, how to create list. You can also create empty list by using empty bracket like this. If you want to create empty list, list name equals and this empty bracket. This will create an empty list. So you can easily create empty list by using this empty bracket. How to create list, how to access item from the list, how to add item to the list using append method, how to remove item from the list using remove method, and how to iterate over a list using for loop. Now let's move on to our next data structure, that is tuple. What are tuples? Tuples are used to store multiple items in a single variable. Lists are also used to store multiple items in a single variable. That we know. Similar to list, tuples are also used to store multiple items in a single variable. List is an ordered collection of items. Tuple is also an ordered collection of items. Then what is the difference? The difference is lists are mutable. Means you can change their content. Once list is created, you can change the content of the list. But in case of tuples, you can't change their content. You can't change the content of tuple. Tuples are immutable, unchangeable. Let me write this point here. Tuples are collection of items which is ordered and unchangeable. This is important point. Ordered and unchangeable. And how to create tuple? Tuples are created using round bracket, whereas lists are created using square bracket. You must have noticed this. Lists are created using square bracket and tuples are created using round bracket. Now let's see example. Here we have created a tuple named colors. And this tuple contains 3 items, red, green, and blue. And we have created this tuple using round bracket. You can also create tuple without this bracket like this. But mostly tuples are created using round bracket only. Now next is how to access tuples items. Just like list, tuple supports indexing and negative indexing both. So here we are accessing the first item of the tuple by using 0th index, and negative index is used to access the last item of the tuple. So in first print statement here, output will be red, and in this next print statement where we are using negative index -1, output will be blue, because this -1 will return you last item of the tuple, and the 0th index will return you first item of the tuple, just like list. And next is tuple are immutable. It means that you can't change the item of a tuple. For example, here you can't change the item at 0th index. You can't change this. This will raise an error. This will give you error. You can see. You can't do this because tuples are unchangeable. You can see the message here. Tuples don't support item assignment. They are unchangeable. They are immutable. And tuples are also ordered collection of item. Just like list, tuples are also ordered. It means that items have a defined order and that order will not change. So tuples are ordered and tuples are unchangeable. You have to remember these 2 points. And tuples also allow duplicates. Tuples also allow duplicates. Just like list, tuple also allow duplicates. You can have 2 times red in this tuple. Red. One red here and one red here. So tuple allow list, and tuple allow duplicates, and list also allow duplicates. In list also you can have duplicates, like apple here and one more apple you can have. Now apples are coming 2 times here. So list also they allow duplicates, and tuple also they allow duplicates. So you have to remember all these points for tuples and lists. Now let's execute this code and see the output. Let me comment out the above code of list because we don't need it now. Now let's execute. Here in output, red is printed 2 times because first item is also red and last item is also red. So let's remove this last item and execute the code again. And you can see here, first item is red and the last item is blue. At -1 index, item is blue. So red and blue, these 2 items are printed here. Now next is how to loop through a tuple or how to iterate over tuple. Just like list, you can use for loop to iterate over tuple. For example, for any variable name, for X, or for color in colors. This colors is a list, colon, and print variable color. In this example, during each iteration, the variable color holds the value of the current item in the tuple, and print function outputs the value of the color. And here this for loop is automatically iterating over each element of tuple colors. Now next see what all tuple methods are available in Python. Python has got 2 built-in methods for tuples. One is count method and another one is index method. Tuple methods. Compared to list, Python has got few methods. Why few methods? Because tuples are designed to be immutable, unchangeable. So most operations that would modify tuple, example append method, remove method, these methods are not available for tuples. These makes tuple ideal for fixed and constant data that shouldn't be changed. So now let's understand what is count method and what is index method. Count method returns the number of times a specified value occurs in a tuple. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. Here I've created one tuple named my tuple, and it has got all these numeric values 1, 2, 1, 3, 7, 8, 5, 4, 6, 8, and 5. Now in this example, I want to count occurrence of value 5, that how many times 5 appears in this tuple. So for this, we can use count method. How to use count method? Name of your tuple dot count method you have to call, and you have to specify the value. I want to count occurrence of value 5, that how many times 5 appears in this tuple. So I have specified 5 here. And this statement will return you the number of times value 5 appear in the tuple, and that return value is stored in this variable x. And after this, we are printing the value of x here to display it on the output window. Now let's execute this and see the output. So 5 is coming for 2 times, 1 here and 1 here. So you can see the output 2. This count method has returned 2. In case you want to count some other value, occurrence of some other value, like for if you want to count 8, just change the value and execute the code. 8 is coming only once. No, 8 is also coming 2 times, 1 here and 1 here. So that is why 2 is returned and 2 is displayed in the output. So I hope you've understood how count method works. Now next is index method. Index method searches the tuple for a specified value and returns the position of where it was found. So index method is basically used to search a specified value. Now let's see how it works. Now in this example, in above example of count method, let's use same example. I'm copying it and commenting out this code. Let's comment out all the above code because we don't need it now. And remove this count method. Instead of count method, we will use index method. Now, why to use index method? Because we want to search a specified value. Let's search first occurrence of value 8 in this tuple. Now, how to do that using index method? Your tuple, my tuple is my tuple dot call the method index method, and here within this round bracket you have to specify the value you want to search in the tuple. I want to search value 8, so I have specified 8. Now what this statement will do, this statement will return you the first occurrence of value 8 in this tuple. Where is the first occurrence of value 8 in this tuple? That is what? That is at third position, because in tuple indexing starts from 0. So this first element 1 is at 0th index, 3 is at second index, 1 is at 0th index, 3 is at first index, 7 is at second index, and 8. This is the first occurrence of 8. So 8 is at index 3. So this statement will return you value 3. Now let's store this return value in a variable and print that variable. So I have stored this return value in variable named x, and we are printing the value of x here. Now let's execute this and see the output. Here you can see the output 3. Because 8 in this tuple, first occurrence of 8 is at position 3. So that is why this statement has returned 3, and the return value is stored in variable x, and x is displayed here using print method. So I hope you have understood how index method works. Now let's search some other item. For example, 5. So just change the value 5 index in index method and execute the code. It will return you the first occurrence of value 5 in the tuple. That is at position 4 after 8, position 4. So 4 should be returned. See 4 in the output window. So I hope you've understood how count method works, how index method works. So here you might be thinking that what is the real-time uses of tuple? So you can use tuple for data that shouldn't change, like coordinates, constants, or configuration settings. So I hope you have understood what are tuples, how it works, what are methods are available in tuple, how to use it. So now let's move on to our next topic, that is dictionaries. Dictionaries are used to store data in key value pair. Dictionary is a collection of key value pair, and each key is unique. A dictionary is a collection which is ordered. The dictionary is also ordered, changeable, and do not allow duplicates. No duplicates. So important point is to remember, dictionary is a collection of key value pair. In this, data is stored in key value pair, and dictionaries are ordered, changeable, and no duplicates are allowed in dictionary. You have to remember all these points. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. So here we have an example. And also one more important point, dictionaries are created using curly brackets. Curly brackets. Right. Here we have created a dictionary named person, and we have created a dictionary using curly brackets. Name, age, and city. These are keys, and Alice, 25, New York. These are their respective values. Name has value Alice, age has value 25, and city has value New York. Keys are unique and their values can be any data type. Keys are unique and their values can be any data type. Like here, name has string data, age has numeric data. So keys are unique and they can have any data type. Now, how to access dictionaries? You can access dictionary by their keys. You can access the value of key using square bracket like we are doing here. Here we are accessing person dictionary name key. This statement will display name value stored in the name key. Now next we are updating the age key. Person dictionary age key to a new value 26. Again we are using square bracket to access key. In this statement, person's age will be updated with the new value 26. And after updating, let me write it here. Update the value of existing key age. And after that, we are printing the person dictionary. So now let's execute the code and see the output. But before executing the code, let me comment out the code below creating dictionary. This code is not needed now, and code above dictionary is also not required now. So let's comment out this entire session. Now let's execute it, run the code. Current file, execute. And you can see the output here. Here we have accessed the name key of the personal dictionary, and that is displayed here Alice. And after that, we have printed the entire dictionary, print person dictionary. And this is the updated dictionary. We have updated the age value to 26. Earlier it was 25 when we created the dictionary, and we have updated it to 26. So age is also updated here. You can see the output here. So this is how we create dictionary and we access item of the dictionary and we update the values. Now next is add a new key value pair. Adding an item to the dictionary is done by using new index key and assigning a value to it. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. So let me uncomment this code section. Here we are adding a new key, profession, with the value engineer. And after adding, we are printing the dictionary by using the print method. Dictionaries are dynamic, so you can add new entries anytime. So let me comment out this iterating over a dictionary, this part of code, and let's see the output. Let's check whether our new key is added or not. Let's execute the code. You can see our new key is added here. Profession, engineer. This is our new key. Profession is a key and engineer is its value. How we have added the key? Name of the dictionary, new key, in square bracket, equal sign, and value for the new key. That's it. It's easy. So I hope you have understood how to add a new key value pair to an existing dictionary. Now let's see how to iterate over dictionary or how to loop through dictionary. In this example, here the items method, this items method returns all the key value pair in the dictionary as a tuple in the format key value. So we are using here items method of a dictionary for key value in dictionary name dot items method. So here this person's dot items method converts the dictionary into an iterable sequence of key value pair so that we can iterate. So this person's dot item method is very important. This item method converts the dictionary into an iterable sequence of key value pair so that we can iterate over it. This unpacks each tuple key value from person's dot item during the loop. On the first iteration, key equals name and value equals Alice will be returned. On second iteration, key equals age. On the first iteration, key equals name and value Alice will be returned. On second iteration, key age and value 25 will be returned. And on third iteration, key city and value New York will be returned. And in fourth iteration, because we have added a new key value pair also, so fourth iteration is also there. So on the fourth iteration, key equals profession and value equals engineer will be returned. And we are using F-string formatting to print each key and its value in the format key and value. Now let's execute our code and see the output. You can see the output here. All the key and their respective values are printed here. Name Alice, age 26, city New York, profession engineer. Now here you might be thinking that why we have used dot item method. We have used dot item method because dot item method is the most efficient way to iterate over a dictionary when you need both key and values. If you need only key or value, you can use dot key method or dot value method. Dot key method iterates over key and dot value method iterates over values. Now let's see an example. First, we will see how to iterate over keys. We will use for loop to iterate over keys. For key in person dot keys. Here dot keys method retrieves all the keys from dictionary person. Dot keys method retrieves all the keys from dictionary person. And we are using for loop to iterate through each key in the dictionary. And inside the for loop body, let's print the key name. So in each iteration, so there will be 4 iterations. In first iteration, key name will be retrieved and that will same will be printed here. In second iteration, key age will be retrieved and same will be printed here. In third iteration, key city will be retrieved and same will be printed here. And in fourth iteration, key profession will be retrieved and same will be printed here. And here we have missed colon. Now let's execute the code. See, all 4 iteration in all 4 iterations, 4 keys are printed here. In first iteration, name, then age, city, and then profession. Similarly, you can iterate over values also using dot value method. Let's copy the code and paste here. Here, iterate over values. And instead of key method, we will use values method for value. Now, value method will return all the values of person dictionary. And in each iteration, value will be stored in this value variable and inside the loop, the value will be printed. So again, there will be 4 iterations for 4 values. Now let's execute the code and see the output. So value method will return only values. See, all 4 values are here: Alice, 26, New York, and engineer. And keys method will return only keys. Values method will return only values. And items method will return both key and value. Now let's see some important frequently used dictionary methods. First one is clear method. Clear method removes all the elements from dictionary. How it works? Let's see an example. Let me comment out the above code. How to comment out the code? By using shortcut Control and /. Now clear method. Here we have created one dictionary named person, and these are the elements of the dictionary: name, age, and city in key value pair. Now here we want to remove all the elements from this person dictionary. Then how to do it? By using clear method. You simply name of your dictionary, that is person dot clear. This will remove all the elements from the person dictionary. And after clearing, just print the dictionary to display its content, to display its element. And before clearing also, let's print a dictionary. So this is before and this is after. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see before clearing, we had all these elements, and after clearing, this dictionary is empty. All the elements are removed. So you can use clear method to remove all the elements from the dictionary. Now next is get method. Get method returns the value of a specified key. Now let's see how it works. So let me comment out this clear method code. We will use same dictionary for get method also. Get method. Get method returns the value of the item with the specified key. Now here in this example, in case we want to get the value of key age, then how to get the value of key age? By using get method. How to use get method? So it's very simple. Just name of your dictionary, that is person dot call get method, and in round bracket specify your key. Our key is age because we want to get value of age. This statement will return you the value. Now let's store that return value in a variable named x. So this x will hold the value of key age. So what's the value? Value is 25. And now let's display the value of x by using print method. It's very simple. Now let's execute the code and see the output. It should display 25. So I hope you have understood how to get value of key using get method. Now our next method is pop method. Pop method removes the element with the specified key. Now let's see how it works. Pop method. Now let's try to remove age key from this person dictionary using pop method, because pop method removes the element with a specified key. So here our key will be age. We will remove this element, age element, by using this age key using pop method. How to use it? It's very simple. Just name of your dictionary, that is person dot pop method, and here you just specify your key in double quotes, that is age. And pop method also returns a value. The value of the removed item is the return value of the pop method. So let's store the return value of the pop method in a variable named x and print the value of x to display the content of x. Now let's execute the code and see the output. See, 25 is removed from the person dictionary. Now let's print the dictionary also. Print person. P-E-R-S-O-N, person. Let's execute the code again. Now see, age is removed from the dictionary. Age is removed from this dictionary. So I hope you've understood how pop method works. Pop method also returns the value of the removed item. Now let's see what is our next method. Our next method is update method. Update method updates the dictionary with the specified key value pair. Now let's see how it works. Update method. Now let me comment the above code. Now let's update this person dictionary by inserting a new item to the dictionary. Now let's insert a new item called salary in this dictionary, to this dictionary. So how to do that? By using update method. Now let's use update method. Name of your dictionary, that is person dot update. And within this round bracket, you have to add the new item in a curly bracket. So let's do that. This is our curly bracket. Now here we have to add the new item in a key value pair. So key will be salary in a double quotes. And after colon, you have to add the value for the salary. So value, let's say 10,000. That's it. And after this, here we are updating the dictionary, insert new item to person dictionary. And after this, let's print the dictionary just to verify that new item is inserted or not. Now let's execute our code and see the output. Yes, you can see salary is added here, inserted here. So our dictionary is updated. So I hope you have understood how to update the dictionary using the update method. Now let's move on to the next method, that is items method. Items method returns a list containing a tuple for each key value pair. Items method we have already discussed when we were discussing example of iterating over dictionary. Here, iterating over a dictionary, here we have used items method, person.items method. So I hope you have understood how items method works. What is the use of items method? Next is key method, returns a list containing the dictionary keys. Keys method also we have discussed, and values. This method, values method also we have discussed. After items method, we discussed key method to iterate over keys here. And after keys method to iterate over values, we have used values method. So items method, keys method, and values method, these three methods we have already covered. Now let's move on to our next topic, that is sets. Sets are also used to store multiple items in a single variable. Set is one of the 4 built-in data types in Python used to store collection of data. Other 3 are list, tuple, and dictionary. So sets are also used to store multiple items in single variable, just like list, tuple, and dictionaries. Now let's understand sets with the help of an example. Before we start sets, let me comment out these codes. Yes. Now sets. Just like list, tuple, and dictionary, sets are also used to store multiple items in a single variable. Set is one of the 4 built-in data types in Python used to store collection of data. Other 3 are list, tuple, and dictionaries. Now set is a collection which is unordered. Set is a collection which is unordered, unchangeable, and unindexed. And unindexed. Now let's understand what does it mean. So here we have an example for sets. Let me comment out this code section. We'll start with how to create set. So here we are creating a set using curly brackets. Sets are created using curly braces. Name of the set, equal sign, and within curly braces all the set items are there. 1, 2, 3, 3, and 4. So you can see in this set 3 is coming twice, but in sets duplicates are removed automatically. So 3 will appear only once. This you can see in the output of this print statement. Duplicates are already automatically removed in set. So let's execute the code and see. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 is coming only once because duplicates are automatically removed in sets. Now next, how to add and remove items from sets. To add any item to set, we have got add method, and to remove any item from set, we have got remove method. Just name of your set dot add method and item you want to add. We want to add 5 here, so 5 will be added to the set. And to remove, name of your set dot remove method and item you want to remove. So in this statement, 1 will be removed from the set. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see here in the output, this is our final set after adding and removing. 1 is removed and 5 is added. 2, 3, 4 and 5. 1 is removed and 5 is added to our set. And here you have to remember one thing. If the item to remove does not exist, remove method will raise an error. Here you are trying to remove 1, and if 1 doesn't exist in the set, then what will happen? It will raise an error. So you have to remember this. Now next, set operations. Now here in this example, we have created a set of even number. Even number equals in curly braces 2, 4, 6. And we have one more set that is numbers. So let me copy this here. And let me comment out this. So in this example, we have got two sets. One is numbers 1, 2, 3, 3 and 4. And one is even number set that is 2, 4 and 6. And here we are doing intersection of these two sets. When we do intersection of these two sets, all common elements will be returned. It means that it will return a set that contains the item that exists in both the sets, all common elements. So how to do intersection? Set 1 that is numbers dot intersection and another set 2 that is even number. So this statement will return all the common elements in both the sets, number set and even number set. So let's execute this statement and see the output. You can see the common elements 2 and 4. Number 2 exists in both the sets. It appears in both the sets and 4 also appears in both the sets. So it has returned a set containing common number that is 2 and 4. Now next is union method. Union method, it will return all unique elements in both the sets. Set 1 is number and set 2 is even number. So in both the sets, when we will do the union of these two sets, it will return all unique numbers. It will return a set that contains all items from both the sets. Duplicates are excluded. Now let's execute this and see the output. You can see all unique numbers are returned 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. So I hope your duplicates are excluded here. It will return all unique numbers. Duplicates are excluded. Apart from these two methods, we have few more frequently used methods. First one is add method. This we have already seen. Add method adds an element to the set. Next is clear method. Clear method removes all the elements from the set. Copy method. Copy method returns a copy of the set. Pop method. Pop method removes an element from the set. Remove method. Remove method removes the specified element from the set. Union method and intersection method we have already discussed. We have already seen how union method works and intersection method works. Intersection method returns common element from both the sets. And the union method returns all unique elements from both the sets. Now let's understand clear method with the help of an example. Clear method is to remove all the elements from the set. Now here in this even number set, let's take an example of this even number set. I'm copying it here and pasting it, and let's comment out the above code, set operations. So here we have a set of even number and we want to remove all the elements from this even number set. Then how to do that? You can use clear method. Just name of your set that is even number dot clear method. That's it. This statement will remove all the elements from the even number set. Now print the set and see whether all the elements are removed or not. Let's execute this example. See, set is empty. Set is empty. After clearing the set is empty. Before clearing the set, let's print set before clearing it. Before clearing, we had 2, 4, 6, and after clearing the set is empty. No item is there. So this is how you can use clear method to remove all the elements from the set. Now next is add method. We have already seen how add method works. After clear method, we have copy method. Copy method returns a copy of the set. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. So let me comment out this clear method and copy method. Now here, in case you want to make a copy of this even number set, we have got this set even number. In case you want to make a copy of this even number set, how to do that using copy method? Let's see. Just name of your set that is even number dot call the method, that is copy method, and this copy method will return you a copied set. Now let's store that return copied set in a variable, in a collection, in a set. Let's name it as a copied set, and now print the copied set. Now let's execute and see the output whether set is copied or not. You can see set is copied here. 2, 4, 6 are the element of the copied set. Now our next method is pop method. Pop method removes an element from the set. This pop method will remove a random element from the set. Now let's see the example. Now here, in case we want to remove a random element from this copied set, you can use pop method. Pop method removes a random element from the set. Pop method removes random element from the set. It will remove random item from the set and also returns the removed value. Now let's see an example. Here we have got a set, copied set, or we can take some other set also. Here we have a set of numbers. Let's take this example. Here we have a set of numbers. The set has got 1, 2, 3, 3, and 4, all these items. Duplicates are removed from the set automatically, that we know. Now here, if we use pop method in this set, numbers dot pop, what will happen? It will remove random element from the set, and it will also return the removed value. Now let's store this return value in a variable and print the value of x. What is happening here? We are using pop method to remove random number from the set, and we are storing the return value in a variable named x, and then we are printing the value of x. Now let's execute this code and see the output. See, 1 is removed. 1 is removed from the set. So I hope you've understood how pop method is used to remove the element from the set. Now next is remove method. This we have already seen how to use remove method to remove a specified element. You can see here we have used remove method to remove a specified element, and after that, after remove method, we have union method and intersection method. This also we have seen. Now next is how to iterate over sets, how to loop through sets, loop through items of sets. Just like other data structures, list, tuple, and dictionary, we can use for loop to iterate over sets. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. Let's create a set. So let's take this set only, set of numbers, copy it, paste it here. So here we have got a set of numbers. Here we have created one set, and we have to iterate over this set. We have to loop through the items of this number set using for loop. So our statement will be like for x in numbers colon, and what we are doing here in this for loop, we are using for loop to iterate over each elements in the set. This variable x takes the value of each element in the sets. This variable x takes the value of each element in the sets during each iteration, and after this we are printing the value of x using print method. So in each iteration, one value will be picked from this set, and that will be stored in variable x, and inside this for loop body we are printing the value of x. So let's execute this code and see the output, how for loop is working. So let me comment out the code above so that the output is neat. And let's execute the code. You can see here in each iteration, one value from the number set is stored in variable x, and that x is printed here. And here we have an output 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how we can use for loop to iterate over sets. Sets are particularly used for mathematical operations and eliminating duplicates. You have to remember this. Now that you know how to work with data structures, let's talk about file handling in Python. File handling is essential for reading from and writing to external files. So let's create one new Python file for practical demo of file handling. Just right click on the project, Python project, new Python file, name it file handling, and enter. File handling is essential for reading from and writing to external files. In this section, we will cover opening and closing file, reading from files, writing to file, and file modes and error handling. So let me write all these topics here. File handling is essential for reading from and writing to external files. In this section, we will cover opening and closing file, reading from file, writing to files, and file modes and error handling. So let's start with opening and closing file. Before we can read or write to a file, we need to open it. Now, how to open it? We can open file using open function. Let me write it here. Open file using open function. So let's understand this with the help of an example. Now here in this example, we have used open function to open the file, and within the round brackets, within this round bracket, we have specified name of the file to be opened in double quotes. And after that, we have specified the mode, in which mode we want to read the file. Here we have specified R. R is for read mode, meaning that the file is open for reading. We have other modes also, like write mode, append mode, read and write mode. For write mode, we use W. For append mode, we use A, alphabet A. And for read and write mode, we use R plus. So we have other modes also. I'll just write it down here. These are the modes of open function. R stands for read mode. W stands for write mode. In write mode, file will be overwritten. It will overwrite the file. W mode will overwrite the file. A stands for append mode. Append mode is to add the content to the end of the file. And R plus stands for read and write both. Now next. So here we have used open function to open the file, and within round bracket we have specified the name of the file to be opened, that is example.txt, and we have opened this file in read mode. So we have used here R. R mode is R. R stands for R is for read mode, and name of the file and mode is separated by comma. Now this open function will return you a file object that we have stored in this file variable. This file object will serve as a handler for the file, giving you access to its methods and attribute. So this file is a file object returned by the open function. After opening the file, we have to read the file. To read the file, we have used read method. Now here to read the file, we have used read method. File object, file.read method, file object.read method. This read method will read the entire content of the file and returns it as a string, and the content is stored in a content variable. And after reading the content of the file, we are displaying the content using the print method. Right? And after reading the file, we have to close the file. To close the file, again, we have called close method. We have used close method. File object, file.close method. That's it. So we have opened the file using the open method. We have read the file using the read method, and we have closed the file using the close method. Now let's execute the code and see the output. But before we execute the code, we have to ensure that file exists in our project directory. This example.txt. This exists in our current directory. In case file doesn't exist, this will raise an error. So let's create a new file, example.txt, in our project directory. Right click on Python project, then new file, example.txt. Enter. Now open the file and write some data in the file. This is, or let's write, hello world, welcome to Python file handling. Welcome to Python file handling. Full stop. Now save the file, Control S, close the file, and now execute the code. Okay, from here you have to select the current file. That is our file handling.py. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see the output here, hello world, welcome to Python file handling. In case this file doesn't exist in your directory, this will raise an error. Now here, let's give some file name which doesn't exist in our project directory. For example, my system is hanging. For example, example1.txt. And now let's execute the code and see the output. We will get an error. You can see file not found error. No such file or directory, example1.txt. Now here, when you use open function in Python, like this, open function in Python with a file name, example.txt, Python looks for the file in the current working directory unless a full or relative path is provided. Here we have not provided full path or relative path. Here we have just given the file name. So Python is looking for the file in the current working directory. You can also specify full path or relative path. How to do that? Now let's see. Now here, let's create a new folder in a Python project. Right click, new, folder is directory, and let's give a folder name, my file folder. Enter. and copy this file or move this file, cut and move this file to our my file folder. Or just copy this file. Just right click, copy instead of cutting, just right click, copy and paste in the my folder and paste. Okay. So now my folder has got this example1.txt. And now we will see how to give relative path. Now here, how to give relative path. Relative path. Now here example.txt is in different directory. If the file is in different directory, you need to provide the relative or absolute path. Relative path is location relative to the current working directory. So Python project is our current working directory and we have to give path relative to the current working directory. So in our example, we have to mention path like this. So in this example, let's rewrite this open statement to open the file. Here we have to give relative path. That is location relative to the current working directory. So we have to specify the name of the folder, that is subfolder name. Main folder is Python project and my file folder is a subfolder. So name of your subfolder, that is my file folder slash and then name of your file. That's it. Now let's execute the code and see the output. Yes, you can see the output here. Content of the file is read and displayed here in the output window. Content is hello world, welcome to Python file handling. So this is how we use relative path. You can also use absolute path, that is full path to the file. Now let's copy this example.txt in our C drive. Copy and let's go to our C drive and paste it here. Continue. And now we have to read the content of this example.txt that exists in our C drive. Now how to give absolute path to this file. We have to open the file and here we have to give absolute path or full path. C drive slash and just name of your file, that's it, and mode. Here we have to open the file in read mode, so we have given R mode. And let's comment out this statement as we don't need it now. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see file is read and displayed here. Content of the file is displayed here. So we have seen how to use relative path, how to give relative path and how to give full path, that is absolute path. And in case file is not found, Python raises a error, file not found error. It means that file is not in the expected directory. For example, here, let's give some other name, example2.txt, C drive, example2.txt. As example2.txt doesn't exist in the C drive, so it will raise an error. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see here, file not found error, because file which we have mentioned here is not present in the expected directory. So to troubleshoot, you have to verify the file exists in the expected location. And here you have to remember one more point. After opening the file, always remember to close the file using the close method to free up the system resources. Why closing file is important? Because to free up the system resources. So you have to remember this point. So after opening the file, you have to close the file. Now that we have understood how to open the file, now let's move on to our next topic, that is reading from files. Reading from files, Python provides several ways to read from a file. First one is read method. Read method reads the entire content as a single string. We have seen the example just now, how read method works. Next method is read line method. Read line method reads one line at a time. And we have one more method, that is read lines method. It reads all lines as a list. Now let's see how each one works with the help of an example. We have already seen the example of read method here, how read method works, how the entire content of the file was read and displayed. Now next is read line method. Let's see example of read line method. Read line method. Read line method reads one line at a time. In this example, we have used seek method to move the pointer back to the start. What does it mean? What the seek method is doing here? What is the 0? Why we have passed the 0 as an argument? Now let's understand that. Seek method is used to move the file pointer to a specific position in a file. In this example, we are moving file pointer to the 0th byte. That is why we have passed 0 as an argument in the seek method. Before we start reading the line of the file, we want to move pointer to the 0th byte, that is the start of the file, that is the beginning of the file. So seek method is used to move the file pointer to a specific position. In this example, before we start reading a file, we are moving file pointer to the start of the file, that is 0th byte of the file. I hope you've understood how seek method works. What's the use of seek method here? Now here, after moving the pointer back to the start, we are using readLine method to read one line at a time. The readLine method reads one line at a time from the file and moves the pointer to the beginning of the next line. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. Let's open our example.txt file. In this file, we have got only one line. Now let's add few more lines to this file. Second line, third line. Now in this file, we have got 3 lines. Now what will happen? Seek method will move pointer to the beginning of the file, that is before hello, here at the 0th byte. And readLine method will read this entire line, one line at a time, this entire line, entire one line. And after reading this line, hello world, welcome to Python, after reading this entire one line, read method will move pointer to the beginning of the second line, that is here, before second line, beginning of the second line. So I hope you have understood how read method works. And after reading one line, we are storing that line in a line variable, because read method will return you the line read. Whatever line is read by the read line method, that will be returned, and that return value is stored in this line variable. And after that, we are printing this line. Now let's execute the code and see the output. Here, find handling.py example2.txt. Okay, let me correct the file name. Okay, let's use the file which is present in our working directory, that is example.txt, present in our working directory, the first one. So let's comment out this file, this code, and uncomment this one. In this example.txt, we have added few more lines, second line and third line also. Let's close this example.txt, and here we have opened the file, and let's comment out this, read method. Let's comment out this read method, and let's shift this closing file section after reading the file, after reading the line from the file. Because every time we open the file and read the file, we have to close the file also. So we have to remember this. This is very, very, very important to free up the resources. So what we are doing here, we have opened the file. This is our first statement. We have opened the file, and then we are moving pointer back to the start using seek method, and then we are reading one line at a time using readLine method. We are printing the line, and after printing the line, we are closing the file using file.close method. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see one line is read here and displayed also using print method. Now in case we call this readLine method twice, what will happen? Let's call this readLine method once more. So this statement will read the first line, and pointer will be set to the next line. And after reading the line, we are printing the line. Then again, we are using readLine method to read the second line, and we are printing the second line here. Now let's execute the code and see the output. Yes, you can see the output here. First line and second line, both the lines are read. So readLine method reads one line at a time and moves the pointer to the beginning of the second line. So I hope you have understood how readLine method works. We have got this error because example2.txt, this doesn't exist. So let's comment out this code, or let's comment out the entire code. We will open the file again using the open method. So let's comment out this entire code, and we will open the file again. Let's copy it. We will use the file which is present in our current working directory. So before reading the file, let's open the file. So here we're using open method to open example.txt. This example.txt is reciting in our current working directory, and we're opening this file in a read mode. R is used for read mode. And after opening the file, we have used seek method to move the pointer to the beginning of the file, that is at 0th byte. After moving the pointer to the beginning of the file, we are using readLine method to read one line at a time. And after reading the line, we are printing the line here. And after printing, we have to, because file operation is completed now, so we have to close the file also. So let's call close method here. Close the file, because it is very, very important. You have to remember this. After the file operation, we have to close the file also. How to close the file? Name of the file object dot close method. That's it. File is closed here. Now our code is complete. Now let's execute and see the output. So in our file, we have got 3 lines here. So first line will be read, and pointer will be moved to the second line, because readLine method moves the pointer to the second line after reading the line. Now let's execute the code. You can see first line is read and printed here, displayed here in the output window. Now, in case you want to read the second line also, because this example.test has got second line also, third line also. So if you want to read the second line also and display the output, so you can read second line also. So let's copy these two statements once again. This two statement will read the second line. Here we're reading the first line. First line is read, and here second line is read. And same is displayed also. Now let's execute the code and see the output. You can see here, this is the first line and this is the second line. And in case you want to read the entire content in single statement, you can use read method. How to use read method? Name of the file object, that is file dot, just call read method, and this will return you the entire content of the file in a string. Now let's store that string value to a variable content equals file dot read, and now print the content. Print content. That's it. Now these two statements will read the entire content from the file, and that will be displayed in the output window using the print method. But before executing the code, let's comment out the read line code. Now let's run the code and see the output of read method. You can see here entire content is read and displayed using print method. So I hope you have understood what is different between read method and read line method. Now our next topic is read lines method. Read lines method reads all lines in the file and returns them as a list of string. Each string in the list represents one line, including the new line character, that is /n. /n is new line character. New line character at the end of each line. So read line method reads all lines in the file and returns them as a list of string. Each string in the list represents one line, including the new line character at the end of each line. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. Our file contains 3 lines. Hello world, welcome to file handling. Welcome to Python file handling. And we have few more lines, second line and third line. First, let's uncomment this read lines example. Yes. First, we will moving the pointer to the start of the file using seek method. Seek method will move the pointer to the 0th byte. After this, we are calling read line method to read each string of the file in the list, because in read line method reads all the line in the file and return them as a list of string. So that list of string, we are storing it in a line variable. And after that, we are printing the line variable to display the output. Now let's execute the code and see the output. And let me comment out this above code. Yes. Yes, you can see the output here. First line, hello world, welcome to Python file handling. And this file is terminated with a new line character, that is /n, sorry. And then second line starts, second line, then again new line character /n, then third line. So read lines method reads all the lines in the file and returns them as a list of string. How read line method and read lines method differs from each other? The read line method reads one line at a time, and read lines method reads all lines and store them in a list. Now let's see the uses of all these three methods. Use read method for small files or when you need everything at once. Use read line or read lines method when you want to process the file line by line. So I hope you have understood how to open the file, how to read the file. Now our next topic is writing to files. Now let's see how to write to a file. Here we will use open function with different modes, like W mode for write and A mode for append. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. For write operation, we can use two modes. First one is W mode. W mode is for write. This mode will create a new file or overwrites an existing one. Next one is A mode. A mode is for append. A mode will add content to the existing file to the end of the file. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. In this example, we have used open method, open function to create a file object for writing, and that file object is stored in this file variable. And open function takes two parameters, two arguments. One is the file name, that is output.txt. This output.txt is the name of the file to be created or overwritten if it already exists. And the mode W stands for write mode. So this W mode will create the file if it doesn't exist, or overwrite the file if it already exists. So you have to remember one thing. This W mode will create the output.txt if it doesn't exist, and in case output.txt exists, this will overwrite the file. Here, after opening the file, we are writing to the file. The write method writes the specified string to the file. This is our string. Hello, this is a test. This is our string which we are writing to the file, followed by the new line character. So this string must be explicitly passed to the write method. If you forget the new line character slash n, this is a new line character, slash n is a new line character. In case you forget the new line character, the text will continue on the same line. Now here, after write operation, we are closing the file using close method. Now when we will execute this code, a new file named output.txt will be created in the current working directory, and the file will contain these two lines. Hello, this is a test. Python file handling is easy. Now let's execute the code and see the output. Let's see whether the new file is created or not in the current working directory. Here we have executed the code, and you can see here output.txt is created. This is a new file. Now let's open the file and see the content. You can see the content here. Hello, this is a test. Python file handling is easy. This is what we had written using the write method. Now, what if file already exists? If output.txt, this file already exists, what will happen? In case file already exists, it will be overwritten when opened in write mode. So you have to remember this. But in case you don't want to overwrite the file, you want to add content to an existing file without overwriting it, then what to do? In that case, you can use append mode. This A mode is for append. This will add the content to the existing file at the end of the file. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. Now let's do modification in this code only for append demo, or we will make a copy of this code. Copy, paste, and now comment the above code. Yes. Now here we will open the file output.txt in append mode. So let's change this W to A. A is for append mode. And we will add a new line to the file. File.write. Here we will add a new line. Adding a new line. Now when we will execute this code, this output.txt will not be overwritten because we are opening this file in append mode, that is A mode. And this new line will be added at the end of the file. So now let's execute the code and see the output. Output.txt, this file already exists in our current directory. Now first let's see the content of this file. This file has following content. Hello, this is a test. Python file handling is easy. Now let's close the file and execute the code. Now let's see the file. So now let's open the file and see the content. You can see here, hello, this is a test. Python file handling is easy, and new line is also added here. So when we opened the file in append mode, file was not overwritten. Instead, in existing file, new line was added. So I hope you've understood difference between write mode and append mode. Now next, here every time we are opening the file, we are closing the file manually. You must have noticed this because this is mandatory. Every time you open the file, you have to close the file because you have to free up the resources. Instead of doing it manually, instead of closing the file manually, we can use with statement. This is the recommended way of closing the file. Instead of manually closing the file, use with statement, which automatically closes the file after the block. Let me comment out this code. And this file close also. Let's comment this also. Now here, let's open a file using with statement. With open method, with open, name of your file, that is output.txt, comma, mode in which you want to open. You want to open in write mode or append mode, whatever mode you want to open. Let's open it in write mode only, mode. And here, as file. This is your file object and colon. And this is your code block. Whatever operation you want to do, you do it here. File.write operation. You want to do write operation. Now let's write these two lines once again to the output.txt. File operation. Let's uncomment these two lines. Now this is your code block. After opening the file, whatever operation you want to do, you have to indent it. So I am doing two write operation. Both these statements are indented properly. So this is your code block for this open method. In this code block, you can do all your file operation. And after completing these two write operation, the file will be automatically closed. Now let's execute the code and see the output. Now when we will execute this code, this output.txt, which is there in our current working directory, this file will be overwritten, and these two lines will be written in the file, and file will be closed automatically. Here we are not closing the file manually. So now let's run the code. We have executed our code. This is our output.txt. You can see the file is overwritten now. So this is how you can use with statement, which automatically closes the file after the block. This is the most recommended way. Now let's move on to our next topic, that is error handling. We have completed file modes. Now next we have to see error handling. It is good practice to handle potential errors like file doesn't exist. So how to do error handling in Python? We can use try except block. Now let's see how to use try except block. Error handling using try except block. Try, except, and finally. What does it mean? What is try, what is except, and what is finally? First, let's understand that. In try block, this is our try block. Try, colon, and these three statements are in try block. In try block, we write a code that might raise an exception. And in except block, we handle the exception. In except block, we write a code to handle the exception. Except and exception type. Now, in this example, we are handling exception type file not found error. When this exception will occur, we are printing this message. We are printing file not found. Please check the file path. So in except block, we are writing a code to handle the exception. Exception that is raised in try block, that is handled in except block. And in finally, we are writing a code that always execute. This section is optional, but in this example, we are writing a code to close the file. So try block, code that might raise an exception, and in except block, code to handle the exception, and in finally block, code that always execute. This section is this finally block is optional, but in this example, we are closing the file. So here in finally block, we are closing the file to ensure that the file is closed even if an error occurs. Even if error occurs in try block, we are closing the file in finally block. So I hope you've understood how to handle error using try except block. So in try block, we are trying to open the file that doesn't exist. Any file that doesn't exist, you just try to open that file in a read mode and try to read that file and print the content of the file. And in case exception occurs in this try block, this exception handling block will be executed. This is our exception handling block. Except file not found error. And here we are handling the exception by printing the message in the output window, file not found, please check the file path. And finally, we are closing the file to ensure that the file is closed even if an error occurs. Now let's execute the code and see the output. We should get this message, file not found, please check the file path, because we don't have this text file in our current working directory, non-existent file. This file doesn't exist. Now let's see the output. We have got the message, file not found, please check the file path, because this text file doesn't exist in our current working directory. So this is how we handle the error using try except block. Now next, we have done, in this section, we have done opening and closing the file, reading from the file, writing to a file, file modes and error handling. Now next is how to delete a file. This we have missed out here. Delete a file. How to delete a file? To delete a file, you have to import the OS module. OS stands for operating system. OS module and run its method, os.remove method. Now how to import a module? Let's see first. To import the module, simply you have to use import statement, import, and name of the module to be imported, that is OS module. That's it. OS module is imported now. After importing the OS module, you have to run os.remove method. Delete a file, you must import OS module and run its os.remove method. Simply os.remove method, and here name of the file to be removed. Now which file you want to remove? Now let's remove output.txt, this file. Give name of the file to be removed, that is output.txt. That's it. Now when this statement will be executed, output.txt will be removed from our current working directory. Currently it is here. Currently it is present in our current working directory, output.txt. You can see here. Now let's execute the code. Output.txt will be removed. You see, output.txt is removed from the project directory. So we can use os.remove method to delete a file. So now you know how to work with files in Python, opening file, reading, writing. All right, now let's dive into modules in Python. A module is simply a file containing Python definitions and statements. Think of it like a toolbox that you can import into your program to access pre-written functions, classes, and variables. First, we will cover the built-in modules, which are modules that come with Python by default. And then we will talk about how you can install and use external packages to extend Python's capabilities even further. Now let's create a new Python file for practical demonstration of module. Let's go to the project, Python project, right click on it, new Python file. name it modules demo and hit enter. Modules demo.py file is created. Python comes with many built-in modules that can save your time. For example, let's look at math module, which provides mathematical functions. Now let's understand this with the help of an example. In this code, first line is import math. This line imports the math module, which is built in Python library that provides mathematical functions and constants. By importing this module, we gain access to a wide range of mathematical operations such as trigonometric functions, logarithmic calculations, factorials, and constants like pi. After importing math module, we are calculating the square root of a number by using math module. How to do that? Name of your module dot sqrt is the name of the function to calculate a square root, and in round brackets the number you want to compute square root. And after computing the square root, we are printing the value using print method. So in this case, math.sqrt16 computes the square root of 16, which is 4.0. After computing a square root of a number, we are using math module to find factorial of a number. In this example, in this case, we are finding factorial of 5. How we are using math module? Name of the module, that is math, the name of the function, that is factorial, and within round brackets, name of the number you want to find the factorial. So here in this example, 5 factorial will be 5 factorial equals 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which is 120. So when you will execute this code for math.factorial file, output will be 120. Next is math.pi. Math.pi is a constant that represents the value of pi approximately equal to 3.14. This constant is useful for calculations involving circles such as finding the area or circumferences. So for this math.pi, when you will print this value, you will get output 3.14, somewhere around 3.14. So now let's execute the code and see the output. For math.pi, you will get value somewhere around 3.14. So now run the code. You can see square root of 16 is 4 and factorial of 5 is 120, and the value of math.pi is somewhere around 3.14, 3.1415, something like that. So I hope you've understood how to use math module. After math module, next we have random module, which is useful for generating random numbers. Now how to use random module? First you have to import the random module, just like we imported math module. Now let's see an example of random module. First we have imported random module, just like we imported math module. Random module in Python is used to generate random numbers and make random selections. It is commonly used for games, simulations, random sampling, or any situation that requires randomness. Now let's look at the example in detail. Now in this example, to generate a random number between 1 and 100, we have used randint function of module random. How to use a module? Name of the module, that is random, dot name of the function, that is randint, and here you have to give the range. Our range is between 1 and 100. We want to generate random integer between 1 and 100. So we have given 1, 100. So here you have to specify the range you want to generate a random number. We want to generate random number between 1 and 100. 100 is inclusive in this case. So in this example, it will generate a random integer between 1 and 100 is inclusive. So what could be the use case for this function, randint function? This can be useful for simulating dice rolls, generating random IDs, or any scenarios where random integers are needed. So this could be a use case of this function. Our next function from random module is choice function, random.choice function. Random.choice function picks a random element from the provided sequence like list, tuple, or string. In this example, it will randomly choose one item from list apple, banana, and cherry. Our list contains all these three items: apple, banana, and cherry. So when we will execute the code, example output could be apple, banana, or cherry from this list only. But so what could be the use case for this random.choice method? What could be the use case for this choice function? It can be useful for selecting a random item from list, like choosing a random card, making decisions in games, or picking options in simulations. Now let's execute the code and see the output of random int and choice. You can see here random int method has generated 62. This 62 is a random integer generated between 1 and 100. And after this random choice method has generated cherry. This cherry is from this list, apple, banana, and cherry. So random choice function picks a random element from the provided sequence. Our sequence is apple, banana, and cherry. So that is why random choice method has returned a cherry from this sequence. So random module is very versatile and widely used in games for generating random events or shuffling game elements, and in simulation also for creating randomness in simulated process like random sampling in statistics, and in testing also in creating random test data for applications. Next we have date time module. Date time module is another powerful built-in Python module, and it is designed for working with dates and times. It allows you to get current date and time, format dates and time, and perform arithmetics on dates. So let's dive deeper into date time module and understand this with the help of an example. First, we have imported date time module. Import date time. A date time module provides classes and methods to manipulate and format date and time data. Now, in this example, we are retrieving current date, current time, and current year using date time module. Now, here we have used date time module. This is module name dot date time class, and within the class we are using now method. Date time is a module. Then again inside the date time module there is a date time class, and we are using now method of date time class to retrieve this will give you current date and time from your system clock. This date time dot now, this method will give you current date and time from your system clock. The result is date time object that contains information like year, month, day, hour, minutes, seconds, and microseconds. And after retrieving the date and time, we are simply printing the now object using the print method. This now object contains full date and time. And next we are printing the year using now.year attribute. The year attribute of the date time object retrieves the current year. In this case, now.year will return 2025 or whatever year it is when you are running the code. And after printing current year, we are printing formatted date and time. To format date and time, we have used strftime method. Strftime method is used to format date time object into a string according to the specified format. Now here in this case, this is our specified format in double quotes. Now what does it mean? Let's understand. Now here this percentage y, this percentage capital Y is for full year. Example 2025. After hyphen we have percentage m. This is for month as a zero padded number. For example 01 for January. After hyphen we have percentage small d, that is for day of the month as a zero padded number. Day of the month as a zero padded number, for example 28, or if date is 8 it will be 08. And after one space we have percentage h. Percentage h is for hour in 24-hour format. For example 15 for 3 p.m. And after colon we have percentage m, percentage capital M. Percentage capital M is for minutes. Example 15. After colon we have percentage capital S. This capital S is for seconds. Example 42. So now let's execute our code and see the output. But before executing code, let me comment out the above code. Code of random number and code of math module. Yeah, let's execute the code. Here you can see our current date time is printed here. That is 28th January 2025, and time is 12 hours 45 minutes and 14 seconds. And after current date and time, we have current year, that is 2025, now.year. This is 2025. And next is our formatted date and time. So we have formatted our date in this format 2025, first year 2025, then month, and then day. And after date, we have time. So this is our formatted date and time. So I hope you've understood how to use datetime module. Datetime module is very useful for datetime arithmetics like add or subtract days, months or hours to or from date, and formatting the date in a human readable formats. Timestamps, you can work with timestamps for logging or tracking events. In application scheduling also you can use like scheduling apps, calendars, reminders, or any program that deals with time. Now our next topic is installing and using external packages. Sometimes the Python built-in modules are not enough, and that is where external packages comes in. You can easily install and manage these packages using PIP, that is pip Python Package Manager. For example, let's say we want to make HTTP requests. Python doesn't have a built-in module for HTTP request, but we can use the request package. Now let's see how to install this request package. Now first you have to open your terminal or Pycharm terminal. How to open Pycharm terminal? Go to these four bars, click on this four bar and go to view menu and then tool menu, view menu, then tool menu. And here is your terminal. Alt F12 is a shortcut. Just click on it. This is your Pycharm terminal. Here you can execute your commands. Here you type pip install and the package you want to install. That is a request package and hit enter. pip install and name of your package you want to install. Our package is request package. REQUESTS request package and hit enter. You can see package is installing. Now once your package is installed, you can import it and use it in your code. Now package is successfully installed. You can see the message here, package is successfully installed. Now you can use it in your code. Now let's see how to use this request package in our code. So here is installing and using external modules. And here we have an example how to use it. Installation part we have seen. Now let's see how to use external modules. Here we've imported the module by using import keyword, import and name of the module. And after importing the module, we are sending get request to this URL, https://api.github.com. This is base URL of GitHub's official REST API. You can use this API to explore GitHub's API or practice working with APIs in Python. And when we send a request to this URL, get request to this URL, we will receive a response from this URL. And we are storing that response in this response variable. And next we are printing the status code of the response by using the print method. Print method and within the round bracket response.status code. This will give us the status code of the response to check the status of the response. So in this example, we just wanted to show you that how to install external modules and how to use external modules. To install module, it is very simple. You have to use pip, that is Python package manager. In terminal, you have to use this pip command to install any external module. And after installing the external module, you have to use the external module. So to use the external module, you have to import that module using the import keyword. And after that, you can use the classes, functions, methods of that module. Now let's execute the code and see the output. So you can see the output here. This is our response code, that is 200. This 200 response code we have received in response to the get request. And next is our response data in this curly bracket. Current user URL and current user authorization HTML URL. This is our response data. This is in curly bracket. So I hope you've understood how to install external modules and how to use external modules. And now that we have learned about modules, let's put our knowledge into action with a simple Python project. We will create a number guessing game where the user has to guess randomly generated number. In this mini project, we will combine concepts like input, output, loops, and conditionals. Now let's start by creating a new Python file and name it numberguessinggame.py. How to create new Python file? Just right click on the Python project, then new Python file and name it number_guessing game.py. .py will be the extension of this file. Now just hit enter. Now first let's understand the logic of this game and then we will write the code. Game logic. In this program, the program will generate a random number between 1 and 100. The user will input guesses and the program will tell them if their guess is too high, too low or correct. We will keep track of the number of attempts the user makes. Now let's write the code. First we will import a random module so that we can generate a random number. Let's import random module. Import random. Here we have imported random module. Now next is generate a random number between 1 and 100. Now how to do that? We will use this random module, random dot, and in this module we have a method called randint. This will generate a random number between 1 and 100. So 1, 100. Now here both 1 and 100 both are inclusive. Now this statement will generate a random number the user needs to guess. So let's store this random number in a variable. Number to guess. This is our variable which will store a random number that user needs to guess. Number to guess. And next we need a variable that will work as a counter to track how many guesses the user has made. Now let's create a variable. Let's name it as a attempts. Attempts, and initialize this with 0. Now next, let's display a welcome message to the user that welcomes the user and informs them about the range of random number. So let's print a welcome message. Print method to display message to user. And within this round bracket, let's write a message as a string in double quotes. Welcome to the number guessing game. I am thinking of a number between 1 and 100. Now this welcome message will welcome the user and inform them about the range of the random number. Range is between 1 and 100. Now next we will use a while loop to keep running until the correct number is guessed. And inside that loop, we will prompt the user to enter a guess. So now let's create a while loop. While true colon, and inside this while loop, we will prompt the user to enter a guess. Now how to take input from user? We have to use input method. Input, this is the name of the method, and within round bracket, message you want to display, we want to display enter your guess. Colon. And here we have used while true because while true creates an infinite loop. It means the loop will continue to execute indefinitely unless it is explicitly broken out of using control statement like break or if the program is terminated. Now here whatever input user will enter, that will be by default a string. But we need a number here because this is a number guessing program. We need an integer value. So what we have to do here, we have to convert the input into an integer. Because input is a string and we have to convert this string to integer. Now how to convert? By using int method. Now let's convert it. Int and everything in round bracket. That's it. This is how we convert string to integer. Now input will be converted to integer now. Now let's store this converted input to a variable. We have named this variable as guess. Now next, each time user guesses, we have to increment this attempt counter by 1 so that we can maintain the number of attempts. Attempts equals attempts plus 1. Or you can write attempts plus equal 1. Both are correct. Either this way or this way. Both the approaches are correct. Now next, here we have to check the guess. Whatever user has guessed is too low or too high or it is correct. Now how to check the guess? Here we will check the guess using conditional statement, that is if-else statements. If, elif and else statement. Now how to use it? Let's see. Now here we have to check this guess inside this while loop only. So we will use this conditional statement if, elif and else statement inside the while loop only. Now let's write the code for conditional statement to check the guess. Checking the guess. If guess is less than number to guess, colon, print a message, too low, try again. And if guess number is greater than number to guess, Let's copy this and paste it here. We will modify in this code only. And if guess is greater than number to guess, print too high. Try again. And if both the conditional statements are false, this is if, and here we have elif. Elif will be executed only when this if condition fails. If guess is less than number to guess, if this condition fails, only then elif code block will be executed. And if both the condition fails, if and elif both the condition fails, else part will be executed. Else print congratulations, you have guessed the number. You have guessed the number in attempts. How many attempts? Here we have to specify. Here we have to print how many attempts user has taken to guess the number. Now to format this message, we will use here f string. Now how to use f string? You have to write f here. F, and here in curly braces you have to write the name of the variable you want to display here. So we want to display here attempts. Then our message will be like, congratulations, you have guessed the number in this many attempts. This attempts variable. So whatever value is there in this attempts variable, that will be displayed here. And attempts. So here we have used this f string formatting to format this output. Congratulations, you have guessed the number in this many attempts. So here we are using this conditional statement, if, elif and else statement, to compare the user's guess to the randomly generated number. This guess is a user's guess and number to guess is a randomly generated number. And we have generated this random number to guess using randint function, which belongs to module random module. So here this code compares. So in this code, if guess is too low, the user is prompted with too low, try again. And if guess is too high, the user is prompted with too high, try again. And if guess matches the number, this else block will be executed and user is prompted, the user is congratulated with a message showing how many attempts they took. And after this, we have to use break statement to break the loop, because here we have used while true. Here we have used while true. While true creates an infinite loop, means the loop will continue execute indefinitely unless it is explicitly broken. So here we have to break the loop using the break statement. And this break statement will come in this else part only to end the while loop and exit the game. Break. Now our code is complete. Now when we run the program, it will first print a welcome message. That is, welcome to the number guessing game. I am thinking of a number between 1 and 100. Now next, user enters a guess and the program tells if it is too low, too high or correct. The game continues until user, inside this while loop, the game continues until user guesses the correct number. And game continues until user guesses the correct number, at which point it displays, congratulations, you have guessed the number in so many attempts. That's it. This is all our game is. So now let's execute the code and see the output. Now here you can see welcome message is displayed. Welcome to the number guessing game. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 100. Now here user is prompted to enter your guess. Now let's guess a number between 1 and 100. So let's enter number 45. Too low, try again. This is not a correct guess. Let's enter a new number, that is 56. Again too low, try again. Let's enter 78. Again too low, try again. Let's enter 89. Too low, try again. So user will be prompted again and again until the user guesses correctly, because this is inside while loop. This is inside this while true loop. So this program will keep prompting user for a guess inside a while loop. So now this is a very basic project, but you can easily enhance it by adding a limit to number of attempts, giving the user an option to play again after completing a game, adding more complex feedback messages like telling them if they are getting closer. So congratulations, you have created your first Python game. And just like that, we have created a fun number guessing game. This project covers basic Python concepts, but it is a great starting point for beginners. You can modify and expand it as you continue learning. And now that you have completed your mini project, in the next section, we will wrap up with a quick summary and some useful tips for continuing your Python journey. This crash course was designed to give you a comprehensive introduction to Python, one of the most versatile and widely used programming language. Here is a quick summary of what we covered. In this crash course, we have covered the fundamental concepts and practical skills needed to start working with Python, including introduction to Python. We explored Python versatility and ease of use, setting up a development environment using Pycharm. Then we covered Python basics. We learned how to define variables, use different data types, string, integer, float, booleans, and handle basic input-output. We also covered the importance of comments in code for clarity. Then in control flow section, we tackle decision makings with conditionals, if, elif, and else statement to make decisions, and loops, for loop, and while loop, gaining control over repetitive tasks with break and continue statement. Break and continue statement we use to control the flow of loops. And then next we covered working with string. We explored string operations, including indexing, slicing, concatenation, and string formatting. We also covered useful string methods, escape characters for better text manipulation. In function section, we created usable code block using functions. And we also discussed about how to pass arguments in function, how to return values from function. And we also discussed about the scope of variables in functions. In this, we discussed global variables and local variables. Next, we discussed about the data structures. In this section, we learn about different essential data structures, lists, tuples, dictionaries, and sets, learning their differences and appropriate use cases for storing and organizing data. Next was file handling. In file handling section, we practiced opening, reading, writing, and closing files, including error handling with try, except, and finally block, as well as managing file with delete operation. Next is modules. In module section, we learn how to enhance Python's functionality by installing and using external packages via PIP, Python Package Manager, making the language even more powerful and flexible. After learning all these concepts in Python in this tutorial, we have finally put them into practice by creating mini project, this number guessing game. This mini project shows how we can apply some core Python concepts in a simple and interactive way. Here's a quick rundown of what all concepts we used in this project. Here we've used variables. Here we have used variables to store number that user needs to get, that player needs to guess. This is number to guess. And also to store attempt count, we have used variables. And next we've used random module. We have used Python's random module to generate random number between 1 and 100. This adds unpredictability to the game. Next, we have used input function to take players' guesses. Since input function returns a string, we convert the input to integer using int method. So we can compare it with the secret number. We have used loops. We have used while loop to keep the game running until the player guesses the correct number. The loop continues to ask for guesses and give feedback until the game ends. We have used conditionals. We have used if, elif, and else to check if player guesses too high, too low, or correct. These conditionals help provide feedback and guide the player to the right answer. To keep track of the number of guesses using attempt variable, each time the player guesses, we increase this counter by 1 with attempt equals attempt plus 1. And we have used break statement. Once the player guesses the correct number, we have used break statement to exit the loop and end the game, showing a congratulatory message along with the number of attempts. Now, before we wrap up, let's highlight the key takeaways from this Python crash course. These are the most important points to remember as you continue your Python journey. Python is beginner friendly yet powerful for advanced projects. Python is incredibly approachable language for beginners yet versatile enough for complex and advanced projects. Functions and data structures are your best friends for organizing and processing data efficiently. These are the backbones of organizing and processing data efficiently. Mastering them will make your code cleaner and more efficient. File handling is essential for working with external data. Understanding how to work with external file is crucial skill as it allows you to read and write data seamlessly. By focusing on these takeaways and practicing consistently, you will be well equipped to take your Python skill to the next level. Remember, Python is not just a programming language, it is a tool that opens doors to endless possibilities from web development to data analysis, automation, and even machine learning. With the foundation you have built today, the sky is the limit. So keep experimenting, keep building, most importantly, keep learning. Python is a journey and this is just the beginning. In case you want any resource to help you continue learning Python, you can refer Python official documentation page. This page is always the best place for detailed explanation. So you can always go to this URL https://python.org, and here you will get the Python official documentation. This is the best place for detailed explanation. I'll give this link in the description box. So that's all in this course. Thank you for joining this Python crash course. I hope you found it helpful and inspiring. Remember, Python is a versatile language, and with the foundation you have learned today, you are ready to start creating your own projects. Keep practicing and happy coding. Thanks for watching.